Good evening, everybody. Welcome to KUMBTV. Eyes up, Mother Brown. West Ham United versus Leeds United. United versus United tonight in this evening's big Premier League tie. There was another one a few minutes ago. We'll be catching up on what's happening at Stamford Bridge in due course. But before we go on to that, let me introduce the rest of the team tonight. I'm joined as usual by Rio and by Gnome, and also just coming in right now. Look at that. How's that for timing? Joining us right now, live on the street, the Pink Palermo, who, as we understand, is rushing in to his own studio from elsewhere to...
Graham, you've cut out, Graham. I don't know if it's just me, but...
I can see myself. I can see...
Yeah, no, that's all right. You're back now. The lips were moving, but nothing intelligent was coming out, so no change.
Nothing new there then.
Yeah.
Well, while I'm trying to make sure my stream is stable, no, we'll go straight over to you for the teams, please.
Just as well I dialed them up then, hasn't it? Yeah, good news for West Ham is that Fabianski's recovered from having his arm stood on. And so he starts. And there's a return to starting lineup for Ben Rama. And Johnson goes down to the bench. So we line up as follows. In goal, Fabianski. Then Soufal, Dawson, Diop, Cresswell, Souček, Rice, Fornals, Lingard, Benrahma, and Antonio. On the bench, we continue with the innovative two-goalkeeper policy. And we have Balbuena, Lanzini, Noble, Bowen, Martin, Johnson, Trott, and Odebeku. The visitors got a few changes, including their much vaunted Calvin Phillips has returned from injury. They line up as follows: Meslier, Ayling, Llorente, Cooper, Dallas, Phillips, Rapina, Klitsch, Roberts, Helder Costa, and Bamford. Tonight's referee is that idiot. Whose name I can't bring myself to say.
Well, that narrows it down a bit. Which, for those who aren't aware,
no, but it's the worst of all.
Are we referring to
the worst referee ever known to mankind? The pretenders of the
on this International Women's Day, Gordon.
Sorry?
Yeah. On this International Women's Day, it could be known to womankind as well as mankind.
Yeah,
and I think the Premier League have missed a trick here. You know, if ever
I'm so glad you're here, then, Pinky. Yeah.
Ever a game to have Sean Massey as a ref, tonight's the night. You know, they've missed a trick there.
Anybody other than Mike Dean. They are gritted teeth.
It's Mike Dean, everybody. It's the Mike Dean show, in case you're tuning in a little bit late. West Ham United and Leeds United also going to be featuring at some point during the evening, we hope. The question is, of course, no, I'll come to you first on this one, actually. Is he going to be doing us a favour? Or is Mike Dean going to be very Mike Dean and be particularly keen not to do us a favour tonight? Which way do you see this one going?
He'll do whatever he wants, and never mind the game, never mind the rest of us, what's right and wrong. I mean, I hope he has a nothing sort of game and he does it properly, but you know, if you're a betting man, would you put money on that happening?
Not really.
No. So
is this the one that pretends he's a Tranmere supporter?
That's the one.
Yep.
All right, you see, I avoid all this angst over referees, but not really knowing who they are. Yeah, you know, I never check on a match program who the ref is. You know, I just ignore the person.
Yeah, but he's designed for people like you, Pinky. He'll think there are people in the crowd who don't know who's refereeing this game. Let's make sure that state of affairs doesn't stay the same for too long.
I think you're doing referees a disservice, and no wonder the grassroots game is dying out with the difficulty in recruiting referees. Yeah, with all the abuse they get from people online.
I'm not abusing a grassroots referee. Here's the thing then, Pinky, right? One of the excuses that's often given for these people is that you know, it's a tough job and it's all analysed, and like, you know, players make mistakes as well. Yeah, what happens to players who make mistakes? If they keep making mistakes, they'll either get dropped, or if they're kept in the team, their team will be relegated. What happens to referees?
I offer you Exhibit A to nullify that argument to certain West Ham United, because our squad is so small, the manager can't actually leave a player out if they made a mistake. But we tend not to make mistakes, as a thread pointed out this week on the forum. But I get your point about the professional games and how they're managed and controlled, and it's a point you've made often, and it's fair, Gordon. Seriously,
yeah.
But I do seriously worry about the stick referees get in a game that is now generally in the UK played at such a pace that they've got multiple cameras and people getting slide rules and lines and drawings out to prove or disprove a decision. If you need all that technology to compromise the single person on the pitch who is allowed to give a decision, it merely highlights what a difficult job it is. And I think the whole VAR thing, I think some of the decisions that they're making are undermining match officials massively. And I think as a concept, VAR is doing that. And I think
I agree with that point. And I think we're talking about two different things. I mean, at grassroots level, the abuse that referees get is a hell of a lot worse than they'll get at professional level, because you often hear stories of dreadful stories where referees at grassroots level on a Sunday might get, you know, physical violence might occur. Now, I haven't seen one professional match in my lifetime where somebody's actually gone and decked a referee, much as, Paolo Di Canio's micro shove and all that notwithstanding. But I mean, and you make a valid point there on the VAR and all that, but I'm talking about this one particular individual, and we'll just take his last major blunder. And if you saw that in real time, you wouldn't give it, and he didn't give it. Then he got told to have a look at it by VAR. Now, seeing it on VAR just made it even more not a sending off. It shouldn't have confused him. And so for him to actually make that decision was perverse. It went against everything that he should have been able to see. And he's done it before. He went through a spell of sending off 6 players in 6 consecutive matches, all of which were overturned. It was Faguli, wasn't it? That was in the middle of it. That was
this is bordering on an obsession, on a par with me taping every single.
I have got a bottle of champagne in that.
I mean, you know, at least mine is straightforward perversion. Watching an age-appropriate actress and excusing it under the skies of, well, she's a fine actress, rather than any nefarious activities I may wish to get up to with her. But your obsession with Mike Dean is, dare I suggest it, unhealthy.
Well, it's unhealthy to want a game to be refereed properly.
Has any game ever been refereed properly in the history of the sport?
Not by Mike Dean, it hasn't. But I don't mind referees make mistakes, and you can often see, you say, well, yeah, fair enough. I can understand why he made that. He's only seen it once. But he goes out of his way to make decisions that are wrong.
Right. Okay. We're not going to solve this here.
He's precisely.
No, listen. Well, hang on, gentlemen, please. Can I come in here? Because poor Rio's going to give up and go home in a minute if we don't give him an opportunity to. We've not even introduced him yet. But,
we've been working on this.
But there you go. I mean, that is the sort of reaction that Mike Dean evokes. And as you can see, we've spent the first 5 or 6 minutes of tonight's broadcast discussing tonight's match official. Will he or won't he prove to be centre of attention? Well, he certainly has on KUMBTV's Eyes Up Mother Brown so far, because we haven't even discussed the teams yet. Rio, how you doing, buddy?
Carl's enjoying that.
So
let's come back to the game. There has been a few changes in the West Ham team. Rio, as Gnome pointed out at the top of the show there. Fabianski back, good news, and a change in the front three with Benrahma coming into the team. What do you make of that one?
Yeah, Fabianski coming back is a major plus for us. You've only got to be a little bit concerned, though. I mean, has he recovered from the injury? And more importantly, have we pinpointed the imbecile who stood on his arm? You know, could that be the reason why that Ben Johnson's been dropped to the bench tonight after a reasonable performance against Manchester City? Is he the arm stepper?
Was it Randolph?
It could, yeah. We just don't know. This needs to be ironed out. This needs to be sorted out, West Ham. I want answers, and I want this conspiracy theory put to rest. In terms of the rest of the lineup,
yes,
I'm quite excited by it. You know, I mean, we've come off with a really impressive performance against Manchester City, which we thoroughly deserved a point from.
Yep. Against
the Leeds side, that's at best they're flaky at the back. They've got a lot of attacking promise, a lot of attacking verve, as any Bielsa side will do. But they are beatable. You know, they can be very naive at the back. And behind Antonio, who's going to kind of muscle them and bully them a little bit, you've got the attacking triumvirate of Lingard, Fornals and Benrahma. It's a lot of excitement in prospect. I'm actually buzzing with this game. I think it's been an incredibly entertaining game. I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome. Give us a prediction, Rio. How do you see this one going?
I'm going to say 2. Well, possibly. No, I'm going to err on the side of caution. Only 2-0. I really want it to be 3, but I'm going to go with another 2-0 win.
Okay, good stuff. Pinky, Rio says that Leeds are very beatable tonight. Do you agree with that? And do you see West Ham coming through with another 3 points here tonight?
Yeah, I do. Leeds United, you know, to those of us of a certain generation, will forever be known as Dirty Leeds. But I have to say, Marcelo Bielsa has done everything he possibly could to change that perception, because if I was a neutral and I just, you know, fancied a game to watch, Leeds United are a team I'd quite enjoy watching, you know, this season. I think they've got a good attacking style about them. I think they try to win matches as opposed to hang on for grim death and nick a point. So I think as a neutral, if you didn't have any, you know, sort of like skin in the game, you'd quite enjoy watching Leeds United, and credit to Bielsa and the players he's recruited and set out to do the job for Leeds. But there's a price that they pay. The price they pay is I don't think they're particularly good at the back.
Yeah.
For all the bigging up of Calvin Phillips and what have you, and you know, with his man bun, that's all well and good. You know, a fashionable hairstyle and what have you. But I think they've got 2 fullbacks that go missing at crucial moments. So for my money, yes, they're good going forward, but I think they're pretty ordinary defensively, which means, you know, looking at the lineup that we're stuck out tonight, I think we've got a good chance of getting at least 2, possibly 3 goals tonight. So I'm going to go 3-0 West Ham tonight.
Are you pleased to see Benrahma in the starting lineup tonight, Pinky?
I paused then for dramatic effect.
We know
to sort of like temper my response to, only in so much as I think Gerard Bowen needs a bit of a rest. I think he's shot. So I think to support a sensible squad rotation policy, then yes, I think the manager's playing a sensible hand here. Do I think he deserves a spot in the starting lineup? I'm not so sure. I think I blow hot and cold on Benny. Sometimes he looks double mustard, but you just know he's one of 2 players in our starting lineup who will make the mistake.
Yeah.
And you know who the other one is. So, you know, has he got enough in his locker to compensate for the fact that he's going to make a mistake? Against Leeds United, probably. Against most other teams in the division, doubtful. So if he's going to rotate the squad, this is the game you'd pick Benny for. So hats off to David Moyes, but I think Benny can count himself a little fortunate to be in the starting lineup.
Okay, good stuff. Good stuff. Gnome, Dirty Leeds, as they're known to people of a certain generation, will always be known as that. Kind of losing that tag a little, aren't they, lately, as Pinky pointed out there under Bielsa. So they do play some interesting football, but they're so temperamental. The form is so temperamental. I mean, just looking at, their recent results, 2 wins, 3 defeats. They've scored 43 goals this season, conceded 44. Either way, there's not many teams that have scored more or conceded more. So it looks like we're going to see some goals tonight, whatever happens. But what do you make of the job Bielsa's doing there? And, do you think they can ever really lose that dirty Leeds tag?
Obviously that as long as they don't become a dirty side again, that tag will presumably die out as old gits like me and Pinky sort of become more of a.
I'm glad you said that. Let Rio out.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I didn't want to upset you. At this particular point, you did do the kiss of death there, saying, "Oh, there's likely to be goals tonight," didn't you? That's always a curse, isn't it? But
it is. It is.
Yeah. I mean, as I say, it's already sort of happening. Well, you often find that Leeds are quite an attractive side to watch. Tag is added to something along the lines of much as we're doing here now. They're not dirty Leeds anymore, and it's like, oh, were they dirty? Yeah. So the younger element will probably think, oh, were they a dirty side then? Yeah. Not knowing the likes of Bremner and Norman Hunter, and it often comes up. I think you can watch it on YouTube. It's worth a watch. It's the 1970 FA Cup final and replay. For just the sheer brutality. Chelsea, it was 2-2 at Wembley, and Chelsea won 2-1 after extra time in a replay up at Old Trafford. For those youngsters about you, back in the day, if a match was drawn, you used to have a replay, and rather than penalties and stuff. And those were 2 of the most brutal matches. The replay, especially, just some of the tackles were going on. They were shocking. I vaguely remember somebody sitting down, a referee or an ex-referee, sitting down and watching the replay and kind of refereeing it in normal time to the standards of today. And I think he said it would have had to have been abandoned about 20 minutes into the second half because neither side would have had enough players to complete the game. So, those of us who can remember, it's always going to be a tag that you'll sort of associate it, even humorously. But I think, as people said, we're sort of we're willing to concede that it's a funny thing to say, but they are slightly different these days. But
fair to say that Billy Bremner was involved in the best on-pitch fight we've ever seen in this country.
Certainly one of the best ones at Wembley. If that's the one you think, because there were a few, weren't there? You think the one with him and Keegan. Yeah. Which was hilarious. I think it was the first time the Charity Shield had been played at Wembley as well. It never been played at Wembley before. It was always kind of, I was going to say an afterthought, a sort of a pre-season afterthought, if that you can have such a thing. They decided to make an event of it, and it was the showpiece thing, be it Wembley, Leeds and Liverpool. And it just turned into Bremner and Bremner. I mean, people were getting kicked all over the shot as was their wont, and Keegan just got fed up with it and laid into Bremner. And not a nice player to play against. Harry Redknapp decked him once, as I recall.
Did he? Did he Bremner?
Yeah. Redknapp got a bit fed up with. I think we lost 3-0 up at Leeds. Circa around 1969, 70, somewhere around that, when they were winning. I think the first time they won the league. And I think Bremner had got kicked all over the place and just decided to flatten Bremner. And I don't think it was the days before referees brandished cards, and the referee called him over. I think Redknapp walked straight past him down the tunnel. He knew what was coming. So.
If you haven't seen that, folks, do look it up on YouTube. The Bremner v Keegan row. It's an absolute classic, and the likes of which you'd never see these days on a football pitch.
You had the Francis Lee Norman Hunter one, which was it was a bit like the Keegan Bremner one, where I think Francis Lee again had got kicked up near by Hunter once too often.
Yeah.
And yeah, Hunter was a toolish bloke. Francis Lee wasn't, but Francis Lee was not having it, and he was going for Hunter. Yeah. And they both got sent off, and as they walk over, it sort of kicked off again, didn't it?
Yeah, well, the thing I enjoy about that one is, as you say, Franny Lee's, you know, he's like half the size of Norman Hunter, but he's giving him a good pasting, quite frankly.
Yeah,
it's hilarious. You know, big hard bite your legs. Norman getting a bit of a pasting from Franny Lee, but as Gnome says, there you go. That's why Dirty Leeds were called Dirty Leeds back in the day, because they were dirty and like to scrap. But obviously things are changing these days. I mean, we're talking 45, 50 years ago, so a long time ago. Gnome, I didn't ask for your prediction, I don't think.
3-1 to us.
Okay, so Rio's going for
dramatic effect there.
Dun, dun. Rio going for 2-0, Pinky 3-0, and Gnome 3-1. So we're all predicting a West Ham win tonight. Now, do I revert into my West Hamness and predict that everything's going to go wrong just as we're expecting it to go right? No, sorry, I'm going to go for a win tonight. I fancy it. I think we might concede a goal or two though, so I'm going to go for a goal fest. I think it's going to be 3-2 to West Ham tonight. I think we're going to see quite a few goals. So we expect a 0-0 from this one. We are
away then, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, very much so. 5 minutes away from kickoff at the London Olympic Stadium. West Ham United versus Leeds United. West Ham with an opportunity to rise to 5th in the table. We cannot, I repeat, we cannot go above Chelsea because Rio. The game at Stamford Bridge has just finished, as I understand it. The score from there, if you want to tell everyone what happened.
Yeah, I will do. Well, actually, you find out myself. I've been because it's Chelsea. I don't take much notice. But they've just won 2-0. Assisted in the first half, an own goal by Ben Godfrey. Then Jorginho with a penalty. So typical Chelsea, you know, relying on own goals and dodgy set pieces to get victories. The Tuchel kind of era has begun in earnest. That's what he's going to do every week. He's not going to get the free-flowing football that Chelsea fans think they crave and think they deserve. He's going to get niggly set pieces, dodgy penalties and own goals. Thomas Tuchel, you're going to have a very rude awakening one day, my boy.
Interesting result, that one. Pinky, are you surprised to see Chelsea win that one? They seem to be doing rather better under the new man than under large Frank, don't they, right now?
Yeah, but you know, I mean, they'll forever be Frank Lampard's Chelsea, and you know, if they finish as runners up this year, that's all down to young Frank, innit? Because believe you me, that's what the media will be printing for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
You know, I think what we're really seeing here is Tuchel is showing Frank Lampard there's a bit more to the job than just saying I'm a former legend at the club, and you know that's quite harsh on Frank, but the reality is he was very fortunate to get the Chelsea job as early as he did. Yeah. And I just wonder if he looks back at it now and goes, maybe I should have actually learnt the trade a bit more at one or two other places. But, you know, you live and learn. But certainly the new guy there has got them fired up. Surprised at the result? Not at all. I think Everton are very much blowing hot and cold. One week they can be excellent. The next week they can be pretty poor. You know, so... Again, not overly shocked. It does make our job of finishing in that top four a bit harder. Yeah, it was always an outside chance anyway. But you know, all we can really hope for is that their sort of rich run of form eventually dries up. Because as we saw yesterday with Man City and whenever it was, eventually all good runs come to an end, and it might be Tuchel. They just have a slip up against some team that you think they should really put to bed. So we're going to need something like that. But at this point in time, I'm still sticking with my original forecast that I made months ago of 7th spot. You know, anything better than that, I think, is a real bonus. And if we get into the Europa, that'd be a real bonus. You know, it really would be. But we'll see.
Good stuff. Good stuff. The players are out on the pitch. The match is just a few moments away. I would just like to take this opportunity before we do start tonight to mention that today is, or would have been, the 27th birthday of young Dylan Tombides, who sadly passed away some years ago from testicular cancer. Our thoughts, of course, with Dylan's family and friends on today, which is always a difficult day. And for those of you who aren't aware, the DT38 Foundation is the campaign that's keeping Dylan's memory alive and promoting awareness for cancer treatment. Gentlemen, if you haven't checked your genitals, now's a good time to go and do it just before the game starts. Go and have a little feel. And make sure you're indoors, of course. Not do it in the street. That's always a good idea. But Dylan would have been 27 today. Shame, could have been a great player for West Ham. Rio Dylan Tombides. We saw him very, very briefly, didn't we? Right at the start of his career. Yeah,
very fleeting appearance in a cup game. I think it was against Bolton. And it's a terrible shame. I saw him a few times playing for the reserve sides.
Yeah.
And he had a great ability, a great desire, great passion for the game. It's just a terrible, terrible shame what happened to the young man.
Yeah, very much so. Dylan Tombides.
Just another thing, Grant, to point out here. You'll see West Ham players wearing black armbands to mark the passing of Glenn Roeder last week, wasn't it? So,
yeah. Yes, of course. Glenn Roeder, West Ham's manager between 2001 and 2003, passed away at the age of 65 last week. Which was a dreadful shame. Glenn, of course, had a very, very difficult time at West Ham, and I don't think anyone really knew, what was. Obviously, he had the brain tumour, didn't he? Gnome at West Ham, and obviously, he was living with that for the rest of his life. So it seems. I don't think any of us were really aware of that.
No, I certainly, as was just seeing on the screen now, they've put something up on the. There's a minute's applause, I think. That the players are going through at the moment. Yeah, obviously, you and I saw quite a lot of him in press conferences, and a good, honest, down-to-earth chap. Sadly let down by some people around the club at the time, which we're not going to go into detail now, but I think he deserved better from the club and from at least one player, shall we say, who was at the club at the time.
Yeah.
Very, very sad. And as I say, I was unaware that. I'm assuming this was a continuation of the same problem. That was a long time ago, and I guess once you have something like that, there's always going to be a propensity. So, we wish his family well anyway.
Yeah, we do. Certainly, Pinky divided opinion at the time, didn't he, amongst the West Ham fan base, Glenn? A lot of people sort of, in some ways, there's some similarities, you could say, with David Moyes now, with a lot of fans blaming the manager for the team's position in the same way that David Moyes was getting it in the ear, perhaps last year, purely because there wasn't sufficient funding available for the manager to fill his squad.
Yeah, and I think if you look at our defensive record in the season we went down post-Christmas, where the chairman actually allowed him to get one or two reinforcements in. Yeah. I think it was either the best or the second best in the division. So, when he was given the money to spend, he certainly spent it okay in that season. Yeah. But, Gordon's not been too harsh on one player who I think a number of us might hold to account. I'll name him. Paolo Di Canio, I felt, let the club down dreadfully that season. I thought he let his manager down appallingly. And it's one reason, despite being a fabulous footballer, that Paolo would never, ever get anywhere near any of my sort of top lists as a West Ham United footballer. I think he had a relatively young manager at the time. If he'd done a bit more, we wouldn't have gone down that season. And, it was, I really felt for Glenn Roeder then, because we can all say whether or not he was suited to management or what have you, but I felt he was poorly let down from the chairman above him and his most senior player below him, and that's not a good combination. But rest in peace, Glenn, and we're underway here at the London Stadium.
Yep, we are indeed. West Ham United versus Leeds United. And Rio, we've just seen Patrick Bamford get a little reminder from Dawson, who he's up against tonight. Took one in the
Do you
back of
want
the
to do a
Achilles
time check,
in the
right?
opening seconds. Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
From there. It's 1:43 now. Leeds have just forced a corner on their right-hand side, our left.
Yeah, I'm the same. I've got a Sky feed tonight, so I'm bang up to date for a change.
Corner to Leeds, just been taken now. In swinger and cleared away there by... sorry, I thought they'd stop there for a second. Cleared away by... Leeds are trying to bring it in, and that's going to go up for a goal kick. Goal kick, so there you go. 2 minutes, 11 seconds gone.
Okay, good stuff. I'm considerably behind you guys tonight. So if anything important happens,
You might be.
Yeah, yes, quite a way behind tonight. But anyway, the game is underway, as we said. The Leeds with the first corner of the half, the match indeed. Lucas Fabianski back in goal tonight. Pinky, how important is that going to be for West Ham, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, we bang on often enough about the money wasted under Manuel Pellegrini, but actually he was and has proven to be, I think, £7.5 million, very well spent, and one of probably two decent successes in the Pellegrini era in the market, and probably the pick of them actually. So tonight, with a very attack-minded Leeds United, yeah, you have your number one between the sticks, that's for sure. Patrick Bamford for Leeds United is a player that I think we should look at, because he's got a good bit of experience in the Premier League now, and I think he's quite a good front man, and I think he might be in our sort of price bracket. Whether or not Leeds would sell him, of course, is another matter, but yeah.
Yeah, they paid. What did they pay? 10 million, wasn't it, to Borough, something like that?
7 million plus add-ons, going up to 10, depending on what the add-ons were. So somewhere between the two there.
Yeah, a decent whack for a Championship player as he was at the time. But Rio, what do you make of Bamford? I mean, do you think he's the sort of player that can go on to have a successful career in the Premier League?
I'm not a massive fan, to be honest. He struggled big time on his second tenure at Middlesbrough. I think he's benefited most of all from all the lead signings from the Bielsa kind of ethos. Because they like to bomb forward, he gets more chance to get involved, more chances created for him.
Oh.
As I said, his Leeds are just got a shot over the bar. Yeah, I think he's benefited most of all from the Bielsa regime because he gets more of the ball than he ever would do in most other sides.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to go looking for it as much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really not a massive fan. I just think his record prior to joining Leeds is a bit patchy at best. His best performances for me, well, not even his performances, the interpretation that Bob Mortimer does of him on Atletico Minsk is possibly one of the finest things that he'll ever be involved with, Patrick Bamford.
I can't say I've been party to it. Can you give us a sort of rough description? Or even
well, let's put it this way. We all know Mr. Bamford comes from a rather, can you put it, well-to-do background. And
he's part of the Bamford family of the B in JCB. Although I think he's a bit on the distant side from that, the hub of that family. But well-to-do is probably the nicest way of saying it.
Yeah, he loves a fluffy coffee. If you listen to Bob Mortimer,
actually, most of my family has spent their life in JCB. So
1-0 down.
Oh,
flagged up.
Take us through it, gentlemen.
Want me to go through? There's a ball play from the left. Found Costa offside. Well, the flag's gone up for it. Let's have a look at it now. And as it's played in, yeah, there's a little flick on from Bamford, which finds Costa offside. He pulls the ball back, and it's Roberts puts the ball in. But it's Costa is offside. Well, they're now looking at it. It's his knee's going to take that. I think the linesman got it right. It looked it. It's one of those ones that looks it, and when they put the lines in, it's a lot closer than you thought it was. But it is offside.
Yeah,
So,
no question.
but that's twice now. Costa's found himself in space in the box on our right-hand side. A couple of minutes ago, in 5 minutes, he got between the lines. Diop didn't get out to block the shot at all, and Costa headed over. It's been a bright start from the visitors. So
yeah,
far.
very much so. West Ham. I mean, it's a narrow one. That one, Rio, isn't it? I mean, as again, as Gnome says there, you know, with. I just wonder if they're taking these pictures at the worst possible moment for the defending team, just to kind of spice it up a little bit, because Dawson's leg is stretched right out at the point of that particular frame.
Just put the ball in the back of the net again. Thankfully, the ball gone out of play.
Yeah, the ball had gone. It was well out of play. It was a good foot or so.
What's going on? What is going on?
That one they shouldn't need any, like, he's overrun it, and it's a good foot, 2 foot over nearly. So before he gets it back, so everyone had stopped apart from Bamford, who put the ball in just to be on the safe side. But no,
which I like to see. You know, absolutely,
quite right. I mean, you know, as a striker, I'd always put the ball in and then wait for the ref to tell me I was offside. You know, that's the way you should do it. But West Ham have not settled yet. It's fair to say. And Rapinoe's just gone down as if shot, but he's up again, up and running now, having got the free kick. Let's have a look here. See what happened. Yeah, Souček, a little tap on the back of the calf. Yeah, foul, but a free kick, nothing more than that. So certainly not one to go rolling about in agony over. Anyway, you know, yes, we've seen the foul. Yeah, now get up. It's one of those, and he did.
8 minutes on the clock. Leeds have had the ball in the back of the net twice already. Fortunately, Pinky, neither has counted. But this isn't the sort of West Ham start we were expecting, really, is it?
No. You know, in recent times, actually, we've been starting quite well. And this is the first time that we've looked as if we're still on the bus, if you get my drift. But, you know, I mean, at the end of the day, both goals were ruled offside or not valid. And
valid.
Guard down the left. Set nicely, ball across. And again, good balling from Cresswell. Dare I say it, a natural number 9 might have made the run towards the near post and connected with that. And dare I say it, Patrick Bamford might have been in a position to actually have a tickle here. So Cresswell plays it in, and Antonio just not quite up with play there. You know, I think that was a pretty decent opportunity we carved out for ourselves there. Yeah,
it's a good work there. Rio by Jesse Lingard, the first time we've seen him come into play tonight, but doing some great stuff down the left-hand side with Cresswell.
Yeah, it's the first time we've got our attacking players actually into the game, and there's a little bit of space to exploit, and when our Leeds are frail at the back, but unfortunately we look even frailer. We look just full of mistakes, full of edginess. We're just not at the races at the moment, and Leeds are attacking down the left-hand side once again, cutting into the box, pull the ball back, and thankfully it's petered out and Fabian actually kicks the ball easy. But it's 3 or 4 times in the first 10 minutes already that Leeds are really threatening us, left-hand side especially, and there's wide open gaps in our defence, which is very unmoist-like at the moment.
10 minutes gone. West Ham United 0, Leeds 0. No.
Yeah, I think the week off has kind of taken a bit. It's one of those. It's a little bit like sometimes you're going at half time and you're wishing the half wouldn't end because it's going so well and you struggle to get that. Well, it's a bit like that with games. I think we've had sort of over a week off where everybody's been playing left, right, and centre, and it seems we've not sort of got back into gear yet. But 10 minutes gone, long way to go yet. Anyway, but I'd like to see us start to put our stamp on the game rather than reacting to Leeds. As Costa was up against Cresswell there, but has played the ball out for a goal kick. It's not the greatest of stuff at the moment, but as I say, long way to go yet. It looks like someone's nicked Bielsa's bucket because he's just squatting down now I've now he's got an invisible bucket.
I hope that's all he's doing on the side of the pitch there.
Yeah.
It's
I think Sullivan's nicked it to have a whip round.
not doing a Paula Radcliffe on the side of the London Olympic Stadium pitch.
It's a family show, please. A word on Issa Diop.
Now then, Antonio looking dangerous on the left, plays it square to Lingard, plays it outright to Fornals, tries to get across him, but it's blocked at the near post, and the keeper will just gather that. Beginning to exert a little bit of pressure there. Antonio was looking in a good position, and Fornals and Lingard were tying up well together there. Just Fornals didn't really have wasn't given the space to do much with it. The cross was blocked, and it kind of petered out all from there.
Okay, Pinky, back to that word for Issa Diop.
Yeah, just a couple of minutes ago now. I mean, he came charging out of defence, surging forward, ball at his feet, probably 15 yards inside the Leeds United half. Had a simple pass, no more than 4 or 5 yards to find his own man, under no real pressure, played the ball short, and we surrendered possession. He was then struggling to get back into defence as Leeds tore up field. And it's that lack of positional discipline that I refer to time and again with Issa Diop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we were really lucky that Leeds didn't capitalise. And here we are. That was about 10 minutes gone in the game. And what's he doing? What is he doing? And what is he being coached to do? Because that's alarming to me. That is genuinely alarming. The gaps behind him were enormous, and no thought of where he should be. And at the very least, if you're going to get that far forward, find your own man with the pass. Don't give it away to the opposition.
Issa Diop. The camera's just panned to David Moyes on the sideline. Looks particularly unhappy. He's wearing that rather annoyed-looking Glaswegian face that he tends to do when things aren't going particularly well.
They all look like that in Glasgow.
He's giving his team a stern telling off right now. First 14 minutes haven't particularly gone West Ham's way. Hammers have only seen 29% of the ball possession so far to Leeds 71. Leeds 2 shots. West Ham yet to have a shot on target. Of course, Leeds have had the ball in the back of the net twice already, though both goals. Efforts have been ruled out, one for offside, one because the ball went over the byline before being pulled back. Where was I going to go from here? I can't remember. Yes, Rio. Bielsa spoke very well about our dynamic midfield duo of Rice and Souček the other day. Do you think he was just kind of trying to soften them up a little bit for this one?
I think that's by the book, isn't it? Every manager nowadays makes a little polite comment about the opposition. It's very much the media-friendly way of modern football. I think deep down he'll be saying to his boys, just get stuck into them, hurt them, because they know they're threats. And we've just seen Calvin Phillips go into Declan Rice a little there. A little bit of a late challenge. So, yeah, I think Bielsa, playing by the numbers of the current media kind of, it's by the numbers, isn't it? It's by the book.
Yeah.
Make a polite comment, be sensible, don't cause anything inflammatory. Don't get caught peeking over fences, spun on the opposition kind of thing. Polite, friendly, getting into them, boys.
Interestingly, I mean, for those of us who have attended these press conferences or still do, they normally last for about 8 or 9 minutes on average, these pre-match presses. And Bielsa's one on the other day went on for 35 minutes because it's almost like doing it twice, isn't it? Because he doesn't speak English and it has to be interpreted. Yeah. So I suppose at least that way, Rio, there's 2 chances of making sure they don't say the wrong thing, isn't there? Bielsa says it. I suppose his interpreter can always soften it up a little bit. Which, of course, as Gnome will remember, wasn't the case when we played. Was it Astra that we played when the manager went into one that time at the bowling? Can you remember that one? And Mark Joss was the interpreter, and his face was a picture as he was trying to translate what the guy had said. He was very uncomplimentary, so shall we say, towards West Ham.
He was accusing West Ham of a lack of respect or something, wasn't he? And
yeah,
but that was funny. Although, it was probably Astra. or was it? I can't remember. It was either Astra or it was the might have been the Andorran lot, the Lusitans.
Yeah, I think it could well be actually. Yeah.
Because I mean, the Birkikara guy, who's an Italian guy, when I went out to Malta for the return leg, and I did the press conference there, and I was hanging around desperately trying to get a cab back to my hotel. And he spotted me and he'd recognised me from the week before. And he said, "Oh, what way are you going?" And I said where I was going. He said, "Oh, we're going the opposite direction. You could have come on the team bus with us." You don't get that at Anfield.
Certainly not. Certainly not. 17 minutes gone. West Ham United 0. Leeds United 0. West Ham yet to have a shot on target. We are going to be seeing what the fans of the two clubs are thinking about the game as it progresses. Rio is keeping an eye, as usual,
Hold up
on the
now.
KUMB.com. Over to Gnome quickly.
Antonio crosses. Souček gets on the end of it, but can't direct the header goalwards. Promising there, though. Promising.
Okay, good stuff. Best from West Ham so far. And Pinky is going to be keeping an eye on one of our Leeds forums tonight. Which one have we got, Pinky? What are we keeping an eye on?
I'm marching on together tonight, so I have to say it's not that active.
Okay.
I have a feeling it's one of those websites that'll get very busy at half time if you get the drift. So, there's not much else to do in Leeds, so they'll all be watching the game, that's for sure.
And Rio, of course, you're keeping an eye on the KUMB.com forum match trade. What's the view from the fans so far from our fellow Hammers?
Incredible amount of anxiety and dismay about the way we've started. Not a lot of love in the room. Maka 1973's put, don't want to start negatively, but I look at Dean and just know he's going to screw us over. But it's a really poor start from us anyway. Smuts, the offside, we're all over the place. Sorry, that's a harsh one to rule out that on about the disallowed goal for Leeds. The ball was in the back of the net once again. Hammerman 11. Looks like we're still on our days off. It's a still terrible start from us. Wake up. Lovejoy, we haven't played well at home for months. Wolf 359. Can we please pass on one of our players, please? Hammers in Hornchurch. We're all over the place at the moment. Fine margins, and we could be 2-0 down already.
Oh, now then. Yes, penalty.
Oh, it's a stonewall. It's a stonewall. Yeah, I am going to
West Ham. It's a good move. It's a promising move. Lingard and Ben Rama have been combining well. Lingard basically cut inside. It looked a penalty first viewing. That's what I'll say. Yeah, he's basically stood on his foot. Sit better from this angle, I think. Yeah, that's a penalty. I got no qualms with that. Our second of the season.
Mike Dean has given West Ham a penalty. Amazing scenes at the London Olympic Stadium. Declan Rice presumably to take it home.
Well, I presume so. What would have been upsetting had he not given that? I know everyone says stonewall, but it looked it in real time from first viewing, and when you see second and third viewing, you see it definitely was. Lingard seems to be putting the ball on the spot. So they've obviously had that debate since the last match. So Lingard lining the ball up. That's a bit of a breath. Just waiting for it now. As Meslier runs up and down the line. And he saved it, but Lingard puts the rebound away. Phew. And that's why we have Declan Rice taking them normally, Jesse. 1-0 to West Ham, though.
I'm just wondering if that's why they've given Mark Noble a new contract. But it's in the back of the net, Pinky. We'll take it anyway. It's in.
No, they can exclusively reveal they've given that new contract to Mark Noble, specifically to cheer up Her Majesty the Queen. Obviously, she's been a bit down in the dumps with the Oprah interview with Meghan, and they thought what we can do to cheer up our most famous supporter. So they gave Nobes a contract extension, and I have it on good authority that Her Maj is over the moon. And that is true, by the way.
Straight from the palace, no less. Jesse Lingard putting the ball in the back of the net. The penalty saved by Leeds' exciting young goalkeeper, Meslier. But Jesse Lingard, alert, putting the ball into the back of an empty net to put West Ham up with our first shot of the match. Rio, We saw that little step over from Lingard for that penalty. I'm guessing you're going to tell me you're not a fan of that sort of thing.
Oh no, I love all that when it goes our way. I just had to say, of all the negativity on the forum, just before,
Yes.
I was going to end up with one little comment just before we actually got awarded the penalty. It's from Desnut Knock 2, who put Lingard's change of pace, change of direction at pace is absolutely unreal. And it was almost like Nostradamus, wasn't it? Because we won the penalty within like 5 seconds of me about to say it.
I have to say, in the minute or two before the penalty, we were beginning to just turn the screw a little bit. Having had sort of woken up a little bit. So we've got a set piece now. We've got a free kick out on our left-hand side. Basically, Llorente just hauled down Antonio from behind, just pulled him down like that, and then did the what me ref thing. We've got Cresswell and Lingard over it. Cresswell takes the free kick. Souček at the far post heads back into the mix, but it's cleared out. Oh no, Leeds will be on the break now. Although he's over-egged it. That whoever that was, 18 is Rafinha, who basically has given the ball back to West Ham. We're back on the attack again now. Antonio playing very wide this half so far, and he's trying to get through, barge his way through various players, but it's cleared again by Leeds. And it's a throw into Leeds out on their right, our left.
We saw a bit of that, Gnome, didn't we, at Man City, in terms of Antonio playing wide on the left?
Yeah, he's certainly been going out that way. The runs that he's been making have been centred towards left rather than towards right. But he is causing them problems because, as we saw with Llorente, he was holding the ball up. Llorente just didn't know what to do with him, so he hauled him down. It has been fouled a couple of times now as well. So as Leeds try to build up from the back now.
We are halfway through the first half here at the London Olympic Stadium. It is West Ham United 1, Leeds United 0. West Ham scoring with our only effort on the target so far. Jesse Lingard from the penalty spot. The penalty being saved, but Lingard converting the loose ball. And I've got to say, gentlemen, quarter of the way through this game, I quite like this referee. I think he's all right. I think I'm going to start the Mike Dean Appreciation Society. Anyone with me so far?
He's already started that, hasn't he?
Page 23 of the match thread, Gnome, is especially for you. There's so much love for Mike Dean. I think you might want to print this out and frame it and get it on the wall with all your other West Ham memorabilia. You'll absolutely love it.
It was a penalty. I can't believe we're praising somebody for actually doing an honest job for once. Yeah, what about all the other 400 times he stitched us up, you know?
The Hammers managing to claw their way back into. It's a dodgy start, Pinky, wasn't it? But, Gnome pointed it out there. We just kind of, the tables have slightly turned in the last few minutes. And before the goal, the Hammers, we had that Antonio cross for Souček that was nodded wide. And just beginning to look a bit more like our old selves, but our new selves in a way.
Yeah. We said at the top of the show that Leeds look terrific going forward, but defence, not so sure. And, I'm never comfortable when you have to depend on the match officials to, keep the opposition to nil. They have put the ball in the net twice. The one where the ball ran out of play behind the goal, fair enough. The offside, these are really tight margins. And at 1-0 down, would we get a goal back? I'm not convinced that you always do. So, I count our blessings at this point in time, although we're on the attack again now.
Oh, ref.
Again, Antonio was brought down there. He was trying to turn away and spin away from Cooper. And I don't think there's any real malice from Cooper. I just don't think he's that good. Antonio had a bit of skill there that just did the defender. We've got a free kick in a dangerous area here. But, I think when you get onto the opposition view this week, you'll have some corkers because the Leeds United supporters, here's a comment, from Velotrax, no VAR check. How corrupt is this? It was. Almost almost every comment has got foul and abusive language in it. I mean, it's. I might have to take counselling. You know, I feel cheated because I will now switch off. You can't play against VAR. Yeah, you're going to be up all night editing the opposition view at this rate, because we are going to score from this free quick kick that Lingard and Cresswell have stood over. Who's it going to be? I fancy Cresswell to have a crack here.
Cresswell shoots.
And he
Cresswell.
does.
Oh, where did that come off? That was one where I completely lost the flight of the ball, and it took a sort of 90-degree deflection. Let's have a look at it now from behind, and it's come off. It's come off Ailing, and with Meslier going one way and the ball going the other, it was only a couple of feet wide as well. If that had crept in inside the post, the keeper was done for. Corner to West Ham on the West Ham right. Cresswell will take it left-footed. And remember, Leeds weren't very good at corners last time we played them. Corner comes across. And it's in we go. It's Dawson.
Not again. It is West Ham United 2, Leeds United 0. Pinky, tell us about the goal.
Yeah, I mean, corner kick slung in, and Craig Van Dawson, leaping at the back, gets above absolutely everyone and buries it. Yeah, it's just
great header.
A very, very simple set piece goal, and they all had Souček earmarked as the man it was going to go to, but Dawson, I mean, it's a free header. Dawson knows. Fabulous, simple goal. Yeah, that is. I don't know what his goal bonus is, but he'll be going home tonight laughing his head off, because that's as easy a goal as he will ever score in his career. Dreadful, dreadful defending by Leeds United. Absolutely appalling by Leeds United. Dreadful. And I'm laying this on with a trowel, because in years to come, when David Moyes gets the sack and the cries go out for Bielsa as our manager, this is the defensive showing that you'll get. Not good enough from Leeds. Absolute rubbish.
It was actually Llorente who was marking Dawson at the beginning of that set piece. Totally lost him, Rio. And there is Dawson again. And Leeds just not learning their lesson, are they?
No, not at all. Their little stat come up before the corner was taken by Cresswell that we'd score more goals from set piece than anyone else in the Premier League this season.
Oh, hang on. Kind of giving it away in a dangerous place in the box, but Bamford's dillying and dallying, and we've got people behind the ball and we get it clear. But that was shoddy in defence from West Ham. But now Leeds will bring it back as Antonio loses out. But that was really, really shoddy. We were sort of trying to overplay it, play short little passes in our own box, which not for me, thank you. There are times when you just simply got to get rid of it.
Yeah, West Ham, the architects almost of their own downfall there. But fortunately, it comes to nothing. We are a third of the way through the game. It's West Ham United 2, Leeds United 0. The Hammers scoring through Jesse Lingard and Craig Dawson. The 2 goals coming within 7 minutes of each other. Good stuff for the Hammers. Responded really well. We should, of course, point out that Leeds have had the ball in the back of the net twice already. Gnome.
Yeah, sorry, just you were praising Dean, then there was a blatant foul on Souček that was just ignored right in front of him. So we're getting back to type. Interesting. We're talking about Leeds' frailty in defence there from the corner. At the risk of going all Nostradamus, I said literally 2 seconds. They're not very good at corners, are they? Pinky, I mean, you mentioned Bielsa. Do you reckon that's coaching, or it's just the players that he's got at his disposal simply aren't very good at that sort of thing? And might he be a better coach with better players?
No. I think it's part of the game he ignores, and I'd pin that on Bielsa, because you're playing West Ham United. We're very dangerous at set pieces. Thomas Souček has scored 8 goals already this season. You know, Craig Dawson has banged in a couple of goals. You know where we're going to score and how we're going to score. And if you're not spending some of your training time organising your team to actually defend against them, then you want shooting. And I'd take a pub defender to put up a stronger battle there against Dawson than the Leeds lad did. I mean, it's just poor. If it's a one-off, you'd say, well, maybe the player's got to sleep or what have you. But you can't be conceding goals like that in this division and hope to finish in the top half of it. You're not going to. And so it's good.
You reckon Leeds need possibly a decent defensive coach to work alongside Bielsa then?
I don't think that works, because it's the team is such, and the ethos is he chucks everything forward. It's like watching a 9-year-old's team. We all want to score this week.
And we're on the attack again. Oh, not a great shot from Ben Rama. I think
Sam Allardyce would be watching this game now, and he would be chucking a beer can at his screen.
Yeah. I was going to say, this is one of these ones where you're going to mention Ben Rama's decision making, because I think he had options there before he had that shot. But we're beginning to dominate this now. We're on the attack again. There's Lingard. Oh, good tackle on Lingard. But I think the goals have actually, Leeds came at us out of the traps. But I think the goals have knocked the stuffing out of Leeds. And what will happen is that if Leeds, as Diop goes on one of his runs, what will happen is that
you're a centre back.
We're in the box at the moment. Ball's pulled back to
Nurse, my tablets. Nurse, I want the tablet.
For Leeds to get back in this game, it's going to take, I think, something sort of erroneous on our part. Unfortunately, I think we've still got entirely that is in our locker. That can still happen. But yeah, we've been guilty of overplaying it a little bit a couple of times at the back there, and so 2-0, quite happy, and it's sort of it has taken a bit of the stuffing out of Leeds, but we mustn't get cocky, I think is the phrase I'm looking for.
I'm gonna disagree with you there, Pinky. I love seeing that. I like seeing the old. It almost reminds me of Bobby Moore in a way, the way that Diop surged forward there on that 50-yard run. Absolutely clueless. Didn't know where he was going. Didn't know what he was going to do with the ball, but thought, "Sod it, I'm just going to go anyway." But Bobby Moore was obviously a little bit more talented. Than
Bobby Moore wasn't clueless.
Yeah,
indeed.
I take your point, and it's the sort of run that supporters love to see when they're in the ground.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah. You've seen your big lad charging up from the back, and in all the comics, he gets on the end of the cross and buries it and then chucks himself into the South Bank. Yeah. well done. That's in comics. Yeah. In this sport, in this division, you'll get found out more often than you'll end up in the comics. And as much as we love to see it, sorry, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it.
Time and a place, I think, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
It just reminded me of the run that he did when we beat Spurs at their place. The first time anybody had ever won there, first time anybody had scored there. Late on, he did one of those runs where he ended up getting to the edge of the box and he just ran out of puff and put a fairly weak shot away. But if that got in, then I think cult hero status would have been assured for the rest of his life, I think.
36 minutes gone. West Ham United 2, Leeds United 0. Mike Dean having an absolute stormer out there for the PGMOL. And the goals, both West Ham goals, coming from our two loanees, of course. It's been pointed out, Jesse Lingard and Craig Dawson. Wanted to actually, Rio, I just wanted to give praise to someone who doesn't get an awful lot of praise from us and often goes overlooked. There's some really good stuff within the space of a couple of minutes there. Gnome?
Ben Rama, wriggling run across goal, and wasn't quite sure what he was going to go, where he was going with this, but going parallel to the goal, and then finally managed to find enough space for a shot, probably going maybe an inch or two wide, but Meslier wasn't over happy with that and put it out for a corner. So corner to West Ham, our right-hand side, same side as the previous goal came from. And let's see what happens here. Souček and Dawson having one of those conversations that footballers do with their hand over their mouth. So
this lot are really rubbish. This lot are really rubbish at the back. I fancy my chances here.
Why don't we score a goal this time again? So anyway, Cresswell with the corner, played in. Oh, Meslier deals with it as that's the ball's supposed to be played out of Cresswell, but it's just ballooned up in the air. Cresswell would probably have been offside anyway, and it's gone out for a throw into Leeds. Dawson was coming in on that, but it was just a little bit too close to Meslier, who dealt with it well. But again, Dawson's run, the marking on Dawson is absolutely non-existent. He's getting free. Somebody may be marking him before the corner's taken. Then he starts running, and he just runs into this wide open space in the middle of the box. The keeper was alive to it then, but God, dear, I mean, any defensive coach would be having kittens watching that.
I was just going to come there, actually, Rhea. I just wanted to bring up Aaron Cresswell. Some really good, put the cross in for the goal. And then a couple of minutes later, cleverly cushioned the ball back to Fabianski when West Ham were deep in not trouble, but deep under pressure in their own box. So just wanted to point out Aaron Cresswell has more assists than any other defender in the Premier League this season now, with 7 to his name. Having a good game so far, isn't he?
Very much so. And he's had a decent season. We know where his deficiencies lie. I mean, he's lost a little bit of pace. He's lost a little bit of bite in the tackle. But his delivery from the back is absolutely exceptional. And from set pieces of threat, I mean, we almost saw the free kick, took a massive deflection and go in, but it was a decent take. He's having a very good game, a very good season. We know that we've got upgraded him within probably a season or two, but he's a sterling asset to our squad, and he's been an absolute bargain since we bought him. Gets a lot of criticism, which is very much unjust, I believe. Yeah,
and he's, as of tonight, he's just one game behind Carlton Cole in the top 10 appearance makers for West Ham in the Premier League. Mark Noble way out in front of everybody else with 396 games. Carlton Cole 216, and as of tonight, Aaron Cresswell 215. Gnome, do you think that calls of Cresswell for England are just?
I don't think they are. I mean, he's having a fine season, and but yeah, even with claret and blue tinted spectacles on, I think he's not what Southgate is going to be looking for. Southgate is all emphasis is very much on youth, and I think we're sort of fairly well covered. I mean, it wouldn't take too many injuries for him to be sort of up there, but nice as it'd be for him, and I'd be as pleased as punch for the lad were he to get into an England squad. I think we're not looking at that this time round.
I'm not sure. Can you still call him a lad at 30 years old?
I can.
Fair point. The lad has done good so far anyway. 40 minutes gone. West Ham United leads by 2-0.
Free kick to Leeds, by the way, halfway inside our half.
Yep.
Bamford was Bamford turned. I can't remember who turned now, but it was a few seconds ago. But it's going to be Raphinha. It's very straight. Raphinha tries to angle it in, but it's hit the magnet that is Declan Rice, and Ben Rama is out on the wing now to tidy things up.
Yeah, we are rapidly approaching the half-time whistle. We say this every week, of course, but Pinky, very important.
So Soufal out on the right. It was a lovely ball from Declan Rice. Soufal couldn't engineer the cross, so it's kind of died a slight death, and Leeds will work it away now. But it was some good move. It was some good work out from West Ham. Some nice passing, and the pass from Declan Rice maybe a little bit more on it. I've given Soufal more of a run, but West Ham keeping the ball fairly well now, though. And after that first 10, 15 minutes, we've just looked by far the better side, I think, as we go on the attack again. Ben Rama plays in. They've got Fornals is looking across it, and it's gone out. We've got another corner on the right-hand side. So let's see if they can spot the Dawson this time round.
Just a very quick point while we're waiting for the corner to be taken there, Gnome. Just noticed how much space Declan Rice had when he received that ball. In the middle of the park, there wasn't a Leeds player within 15, 20 yards of him in any direction.
I mean, as I say, we're coming up, 3 minutes before half time. And I think really since we got the first goal, we haven't looked back. I mean, even just before as I said at the time, the 5 or so minutes before the first goal, we were beginning to just settle into it and play our game. And since then, it really has been, I wouldn't say all West Ham, but it's been, we've been by far the better side.
Yeah.
Well, guess what's happening now? Mr. Dean knows the camera's on him, so he's going to have a word with Antonio. But he made a point of walking very slowly, 10, 15 yards to do it. Get on with the game, guys. So anyway, Cresswell's found the right blade of grass to put the corner on. And let's see what happens now. Ball's taken Cresswell in swinger, and it's straight into the arms of Meslier. Soucek's landed awkwardly coming in with the run there, so I think they're just going to pause the game, make sure he's all right. He's hard, is Soucek. Let's see what happened there. I think he might run into the post.
I think the post might run into him.
He basically got a little nudge and not penalty type nudge, two hands in his back actually. Then he ended up sort of crashing into the post. I think if I were anybody to do with West Ham, I'd be having a good look at that post to make sure it's all right, because it's just that Soucek crashing into it. But he had the wind knocked out of him a bit, but you saw the physio sort of come on and he was waving him away. No, I'm all right, just get your breath back.
I'm gonna potentially be slightly controversial here. I think that's an absolutely blatant penalty.
He did have two hands in his back, yeah. But
the guys, if that's anywhere on the pitch, two players come up for a header, and one comes into the other one, both hands in the lower back region and push him over, it's a free kick. So why is it not a penalty?
Yeah. Well, Dean's given us one. He's never going to give us two in the same match, surely.
Very good point. Very good point. The excellent Mike Dean having a fantastic night, I should point out, for people who are tuning in a little bit late. We're rapidly approaching the half-time whistle. The Hammers comfortable at the moment. Good stuff, Pinky. Any complaints so far from what you've seen?
Loads. But we've only got a couple of minutes to half-time, so I'll keep it brief. I don't think we've played that well tonight, if I'm being honest. Okay. I think the opening 20 minutes, I think we gave the ball away with monotonous regularity. And what made that doubly worse is we did it in dangerous areas of the pitch. And there were any number of players guilty of that. And whilst we've improved dramatically since then, there's always the nagging doubt that a better team than Leeds United might have punished us, or had the match officials just looked at the screen slightly differently. And I don't think we've been great, is really what I'm saying. I think we're much better than Leeds United, but we kind of all said that before kickoff with our predictions, so kind of like, it's almost like, we're picking on the weakest kid in school, and because we've managed to stick one on him eventually, we think, well, we're the top dog, but actually, I think we've been quite ordinary at times in terms of.
Oh, we've hit the post. That was nearly three. So we had a corner while Pinky was having a moan there. Another corner, it came through, and Soucek got on the end of it, and it came back off the post. Sorry, Pinky, I had to interrupt you for something like that, but but
it's wonderfully entertaining. If you're a neutral watching this, you're probably looking at this and thinking, "Oh, this is a great game of football," and all the rest of it. It if entertainment is the name of the game, you've probably been quite entertained by what we've seen tonight. The point I'm making is that Leeds, I don't think, are all that, and that if we played as poorly as we did in the opening 20 against almost any other team in this division, we wouldn't be 2-0 up at this stage. We'd be at least a goal down. And, you know, I'm not convinced by us tonight. I'm really not.
Okay.
I do Dawson a disservice, by the way. It was Dawson's header that, again, although it was a little bit more tightly marked, he did have somebody on him. He still won the header quite easily. And it just came back off the post. So it was Dawson rather than Souček. But those two kind of hunt in pairs, don't they, in the penalty box?
Yeah, you'd imagine that Leeds are scared at the sight of Dawson at the moment. And of course,
that's the half-time whistle.
There it is. Half-time, West Ham United 2, Leeds United 0. The goal was coming from Jesse Lingard from the penalty spot. Well, not quite the penalty spot. It was the rebound he put in the 21st minute. And then 7 minutes later, an Aaron Cresswell corner was sent goal-bound and into the back of the net by Craig Dawson. West Ham at lead 2-0 at the break. Rio, are you as disappointed as Pinky, or are you quite happy with the way it's going so far?
I'm obviously delighted about the scoreline. I just think the first 10 minutes, we're incredibly lucky.
Yeah.
Because they absolutely tore us to shreds in those first 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So disjointed at the back, they're exploiting all sorts of gaps. And had it been a different day, and as Pinky says, a better class of opposition, we could have been dead and buried. But thankfully, we forced a penalty, which obviously, as we know, that Lingard fired home on the rebound. And since then, since Leeds have been having to chase the game a little bit more, they've left so much time and space for our players to exploit that we're really taking advantage. And we're beginning to step into the game a lot more. And I don't think there's unless we really echo that first 10-minute performance in the start of the second half, I think we're really reasonably home and dry already. I think Ben Rama, I'm with Pinky on him. He's a good player. He's got plenty of ability, plenty of talent. Against better sides, though, he always wants to have that extra 2 or 3 seconds, which he doesn't have at this level.
Yep.
Today, where Leeds are leaving so many gaps and so much space, he's exploiting it well. He's getting really good shooting areas. He's had a couple of decent shots on goal. But it's really is because Leeds are so poor at the back at the moment.
Mm.
But I'm happy with the scoreline. The performance really does need sharpening up. But the way that once we had the comfort of that second goal, that we've grown into the game and we've exerted our dominance, there's only going to be one winner for me. Only going to be one winner in this.
Good stuff. West Ham comfortably ahead as it is going into the break. But of course, as the chaps have pointed out, could have been a very, very different story had either of those Leeds efforts counted earlier on in the match. But West Ham pretty much dominated the last 2/3 of that half. Not much coming from Leeds at all after that impressive start.
Yeah. And the one sort of, well, it wasn't even a chance. It was a position that could have got worse, was one of those situations where we try to over-egg it at the back. Excuse me. As we've all said, the first 10, 15 minutes, whatever it was, Leeds came out, boom, like a greyhound. And the first disallowed goal, this is one of those ones where, had we not had VAR looking at it, you'd have just said, yeah, that's offside, because it's one of those ones that in sort of real time, when you look at it, it just looked offside. You see the same thing in cricket sometimes with an LBW, where it really, really looks plumb, and occasionally when you see it in cricket, when they do the DRS, it happens with the same offside. It's a lot closer than you thought it was, but it looked offside. And when that happens, when they do the VAR thing, invariably it comes out, yes, it was a lot closer than we might have thought, but end of the day, it was offside. So okay, should have been a warning. The second one, well, it was down to the forward sort of desperately. One of those ones where you're running on the ball and it's gone out, but you swing your foot at it anyway, rather than pull out of it, because that's what you were going to do. And it as I say, it was a good, couple of feet over really. So, nobody can complain about that one. I guess those two incidents may have acted as a wake-up call. We were beginning to. Leeds had sort of had their sort of 10, 15 minutes, and I think they got into this thing right. We've got this game. This is our game plan. We know we can win this now. And I think a couple of times we saw David Moyes on the side there, where we've been giving it away. We've been rushing things.
Yeah.
And Moyes shouted out and said, "Don't rush it." And at least that was the inference that one got. And he was pointing out that you've done that 3 or 4 times, giving it away. And I think the message got through, and it started to sort of actually the passing got more accurate, and Lingard began to get on the ball a bit more, and I mean the penalty again, they can have no complaints about the penalty. It again looked at it in real time, and when you saw it in slow motion, he had his foot stamped on. You can't. They're just showing the penalty again now, and
you're still happy.
It wasn't a great penalty, was it? But alert enough. I mean, Meslier basically pushed it straight back on Lingard and said, "Have another go." And keeper had no chance there, but it really was a poor penalty.
Yeah, do you think Declan Rice might be back on penalty taking duties after that one, Gnome?
I'd hope so. If we're giving Noble a contract next year, are we going to have special teams? You just bring Noble on for the penalties.
Like the quarterback thing, that'd be a grand idea.
The thing about Noble and penalties is, I understand it, is that he doesn't practice them. And he doesn't have any idea where he's going to take a penalty until he gets it, and then he makes up his mind there and then. Which, in these days where goalkeepers always do their homework and look at what players do, that must be a bit of a nightmare for them, because they'll look at the last 10 Noble penalties and they'll have that little dot map that they have, and they'll go 10 different dots all over the place. So, which is probably the best way to do it, because if you do the same thing every time, you'll get found out eventually. True
enough. We're going to dive into the forums very shortly, just to see what everyone's saying. But before we do that, I want to come back to that incident in the 44th minute. Not much was made of it. I don't know if they made anything of it on Sky Sports on TV, but there's at least a couple of us here and quite a few guys on the chat joining us tonight that felt West Ham should have been given a penalty for a push in the back of Thomas Souček. Pinky, you've sat here, you've watched the incident with us. What did you make of it? Did you think that was a penalty?
By the strict letter of the law, yes. By what gets given, no. I mean, the long and the short of it is we're 2-0 up, we're battering Leeds. You're not getting another penalty. It's kind of like, we ruled 2 of their goals out for you lads. You're two up, and now what? You want a penalty as well?
Yeah.
It's not happening. And I say the same thing at corner kicks. Every single corner kick, there are a dozen fouls being committed in the box, all of which should result in a spot kick because they're fouls. Yeah. Mm. But if the refs gave those, matches would finish 15-14, that kind of thing. So I think there are certain fouls that are given as penalties, and others that just don't. And whether that's a blatant handball that we saw from a Man United player last week, whatever it was, that was just not given as a penalty, to the other end of the scale, I think there was a Burnley player, Eric Peters, at the weekend, who it just caught him on, the body side of the shoulder, and they called that one right in the end. But the shoves in the back and things like that round the penalty box. Not when you're 2-0 up,
Okay.
Here's the thing, Pinky. What do you say in the second half if he gives one of those, either for or against us, and presumably against us, one exactly the same?
I'd say I believe absolutely the integrity of the referee, and you know.
See, this is one of the criticisms there's been of Dean, is that he'll give something like that to make a point in a game, and then ignore it for the other 80 odd minutes.
Yeah, but again, you know, being semi-serious here for a moment.
Yeah, so
I think there is just too much analysis of the ref's decision making in almost every game, and I think we are putting them in an impossible situation whereby no one's going to want to do it. Yeah, and the situation will get worse and worse. And I think VAR has done referees an enormous disservice. I really do. And I'd like to see it abandoned. And I know, you know, tonight it's helped us, but you know what? I don't think it's good for the long-term health of football. And I think we are going down a very, very dangerous road.
Okay. Going to come back to the penalty briefly. Rio, what's your view on that? Into the 44th minute, Aaron Cresswell corner ball sent into the box. Thomas Souček goes to meet the ball, shoved in the back, or at least it seemed he was shoved in the back, came crashing off the post. That's immaterial, I guess, in the scheme of things. But what's your view? I mean, Gnome says yes, it was a penalty. Pinky says yes, it was a penalty, but Mike Dean was never going to give it, based on the fact that he'd already ruled 2 out for Leeds and already given us a penalty. What's your view on that incident?
I can't disagree with the chaps. You know, it's an obvious penalty, but the fact they didn't even go to VAR on it, or VAR didn't even flag it up, it's just part of the modern game again, isn't it? I mean, as Pinky said, every corner you get, there's numerous fouls being given. You could pull back every single set piece and find problems.
Yeah,
that was more blatant, but yeah, we're never going to get it, are we? We're never going to get given.
Okay. Good stuff. Let's dip into the forums and see what the fans of West Ham United and Leeds United are saying. Should we go to Leeds first of all, Pinky? That's probably going to be quite spicy, I'd imagine, at halftime. What's their view on what they've seen so far?
Well, first up, I've got to call out their post to White Rose, who's described as a reserve player, because what he's written here is would have rather watched the Megan interview. It's would have, not would have. Okay, so no wonder you are a reserve player on that particular forum. You know, so I mean that'll give you an idea of the caliber of poster they've got on there. You know, one of my pet hates, but I mean basically the general consensus is they started off as world beaters and have ended the first half as deadbeats. And you know, only one post mentions the R word. But it's kind of like they're polite criticisms. I think as a set of supporters, they're taking it in with good sort of humour. Here you go. Can't believe how bad at set pieces we are. Up to the pen, I thought we looked decent, then fell apart again. Next post, another free header from a corner. Do we ever practice defending set pieces? Well, we had that conversation. You know, what are they doing training? And then, you know, how many times we've said that this season now? You know, I said to myself, we need to score while on top, or they'll nick one from a penalty or corner. So they know where they concede goals. And then there's 2 things: corner kicks, and if you run at their defenders. So Ben Rama tonight is on the pitch. David Moyes, take a bow. Yeah. And scoring from corner kicks, well, we've got Craig Dawson for that. And if he doesn't bury it, Thomas Souček will. You know, and hats off to David Moyes. He has put together a very capable team that even when, in my opinion, I don't think we're playing particularly well tonight, we're 2-0 up, and it has to be said at this point, we're thrashing Leeds United. They're completely useless.
You've kind of killed the rest of my halftime discussion there, Pinky. I
do apologise.
Because the 2 points I wanted to talk about were, has Ben Rama been wasteful again, and how bad have Leeds been at set pieces? So questions answered. We don't need to do that. We can come back to that at the end of the game, and hopefully they'll be even worse.
After Rio's done our forum, I have a theory on Ben Rama, which I will share with you.
Okay, well, we'll hold that thought. We'll come back to that in just a second. I just want to point out quickly that Steve Page says on the live chat on YouTube that one of my Leeds mates messaged me saying of the second goal, we concede that same goal every week. So obviously nothing new to them, going in line with what they're saying on marching on together. Can I also just say very quickly, very happy birthday to Chris Dalby. Chris, who is joining us on the stream tonight. Chris's 60th birthday, I believe. I don't know how old he is actually, but happy birthday anyway, Chris, from all of us here at KUMB. Rio, KUMB match thread. What's going on? What are the fans saying? I'm sure everyone's really, really happy now and over the moon and all that.
As Popularity itself once said, "Is everybody happy?" And we certainly are. That's Nuts Knock 2 again has put Dawson's an absolute monster at corners, isn't he? I just love watching him barge through and goal, dragging a couple of markers with him. Colours never run. This is following the incident where Souček collided with the metalwork. That's what you call the checks in the post.
Excellent.
Bondholder 59 has put, there's a third coming. I just hope we remain solid and strike at them like the Cobras we are. It's a bit over the top, I think, but there you go. Chapo 59, but when Ben Rama gets his first, he won't stop scoring for the rest of the season. Someone is due a tanking from us. And didn't I tell you that I'm in love with Craig Dawson? Hammers 92. Mike Dean feels guilty and wants to apologise. I'd have been fuming if that not been given for us. Leeds will come out all attack for the next 15 minutes. We need to be professional and get the job done. And Super Soul Fighter has put, how nice is it to hear our first half described as professional on Sky? Credit goes to Moyes and his team for this. What a transformation from our club.
Okay. Excellent. The players are on the pitch. The second half.
We have started.
I'm coming to you in a minute. Hang on a second. Chris is 49, by the way. Can I just say happy 49th birthday, Chris Dobby? No, Ben Rama, substitutes. Go.
Well, I was actually gonna talk about the substitutions. Leeds have brought on Alioski and Harrison for Klitsch and Helder Costa. So I thought that more important. No, the Ben Rama theory. With David Moyes. Come back to that as Leeds get a cross in from the right hand side, but that's straight to Fabianski. Just a thought. This time last season, well, maybe not this time last season because he'd probably signed for us by then, but last season Ben Rama was playing in the Championship against the likes of Leeds. So Moyes' introduction of him might that be considered a case of horses for courses? I don't know how Ben Rama played against Leeds for Brentford last time out, but he might have looked at this and thought, this might be his sort of game. Yeah.
What do you make of his performance there quickly, Gnome, in the first half, Ben Rama? Think he's perhaps been a little bit wasteful? We've been critical of him before taking shots when there might be a better option on. He's had a couple of long-range efforts today.
I mean, he had one shot that was there were better options. But then he did have another one where he worked the space well, having gone across the goal, which wasn't that. It was, I think, did we score from that particular corner? Now then, Bamford's through and puts it wide. Now, that was a wake-up call. Bamford does the Robin curses Batman.
No!
He really did there.
It's a Diop! Nurse!
Yes, Diop had stepped up and there was spacing behind him, and Bamford played it first time.
He had no idea where he was. He didn't have
confidence to play it first time, but just curled it wide of the far post. So, bit of a wake-up call there, West Ham. A bit like the first half. You gave him 10 minutes there. Let's call that a day there, and let's start playing ourselves now.
I think that just proved two of us right there. Pinky's dislike of Diop, and that comes to the fore. And my not rating Bamford, because that was a shocking miss, really. He's got to do better than that.
He could have taken a touch there, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
He had that much time and space. We've given him that much time and space. So glad he didn't, but
we're all quite shocked.
Looking at the teams around us, You know, you've got Chelsea with a goal difference of plus 19, Tottenham with a goal difference of plus 18, Everton plus 4, and we're currently plus 11. Another 2 or 3 goals here tonight could actually start to be worth something come the last sort of couple of games of the season. So I'd hate to think that we'd settle for 2-0. I'd like to see us try and get in a wider margin of victory if we can, because it could come down to goal difference come the end of the season.
Very good stuff.
Well,
West Ham surviving that early scare. Patrick Bamford, Leeds' most dangerous player in front of goal, curling one just wide when he should have really scored. No, over to you.
Yeah, sorry, I think we've just got the first yellow card of the night. Fornals looped the ball over. It was 23 there. Phillips. Oh yes, the wannabe Declan Rice has just gone through Fornals and picks up, yeah, justifiably the first yellow of the game. He looks a bit aggrieved, but sorry, with a stupid haircut like that, he doesn't have any right to look aggrieved. But yeah, as I say, we've not really settled yet. That all came where Soufal tried to let a ball run out and it bounced up and hit him, so he had to keep the ball in play. Played it out to Fornals, and then Fornals.
I was going to ask you actually. No, it looked like he was asleep there, and the ball. He kind of wasn't expecting the ball to come. Like, oh, I'm on a football pitch. What's going on here? What's the counting?
Now, sorry, just going all there. Rapinoe's put in an overhead kick from the edge of the box. Superb tip over by Fabianski. It actually flicked up off Diop. So Fabianski did doubly well there. I think the original one would have been a lot easier to save, but it's flicked up and was just going in under the bar. So fine save from Fabianski. Leeds corner on their right and doesn't beat Rice at the near post. Leeds try and bring it back in and head it clear again, and we'll bring it away. And now then, Antonio's brought the ball away, plays it outright to it's not a good ball in. That was we've got a corner out of it. That was Lingard trying to play the ball in from the right hand side, I think. And we've got a corner out of it, which is as good as a direct free kick on the edge of the box these days to us, with Leeds playing as they will. So let's see what we can make of that. It was a good break from West Ham. Final ball was a little bit lacking, but as I say, against Leeds, a corner's not a bad result at any stage of the game. As Souček and Dawson are swapping whispered messages again. Right, most set piece goals conceded, Leeds 13. So let's see what we can do here. Anyway, Cresswell on our right hand side will deliver this in with his left foot. Comes the corner near post this time, and it doesn't beat the first man. And it's who hit the bar. Shot from Fornals hits the bar. It's still bobbling in the area. Souček keeps it live. Antonio, that was a free kick. Yeah, it was offside, I think. The corner wasn't great, and it come out of Fornals, takes one touch, and then loops a volley. It beaten Meslier, and just looking up, it just doesn't dip quite enough at the end, which is a shame because it was a good effort. And again though, I mean, the corner itself wasn't the catalyst for that. It was a poor corner, but even from them, it seems that Leeds can be in trouble. Leeds on the attack now with Pino trying to cut inside. Gets a shot in at the near post, but it's not troubling Fabianski. It goes wide. But again, we're a little bit. I don't think Leeds were running at us as such in the first half. Well, they've started doing that now, which is causing us a bit of concern.
Rio, what about that effort from Pablo Fornals? Stunning stuff.
Yeah, it reminded me a little bit of Joe Cole in the World Cup in, was it 2002 when he
the Sweden goal?
Yeah. It just didn't dip in time. I'm very unlucky, Pablo. There's nothing I would have liked more than him to see him score tonight, because it gets a little bit of criticism for his shooting, but that was a marvellous effort. Another stat just popped up on Sky, we're the team that's hit the woodwork most times this season. And, as Pinky said, goal difference could count for a lot come towards the end of the season. The amount of times we've really been denied by by the frame of the goal is a little bit disconcerting at times, isn't it?
Yeah, we certainly have been pinging it off there all season. Second time tonight, of course, West Ham have struck the woodwork or the metalwork, whatever you call it. The Dawson header in the final, in the first added on minute at the end of the first half, and there again, Pablo Fornells with that dipping volley a la Joe Cole, says Rio in the World Cup.
3 times if you count Souček himself.
Of course, yeah, yes, I suppose, yeah, if you count that one, but really, Pinky, it's 2-0. It could be sort of, 4 or 5, 1 or 2, the way things are going here so far.
Which kind of reinforces my point about it's been an entertaining game. If you're neutral, you'd be loving it. It's end to end, but it's the sort of game where, other managers would have the West Ham United players in for double training tomorrow. Because I can't recall us giving the ball away to the opposition under limited pressure as often as we've done all season. We've given the ball away cheaply time and time again, maybe because we'll get the ball back very quickly time and time again against a team that themselves, Leeds United, aren't great at hanging on to the ball. So great to watch, but I'm not sure it's stuff that managers would be particularly impressed by, if you get my drift. It's we're making far too many basic errors, far too many.
Yeah, and no, we all expected an entertaining game before the match started, and I guess you could say that it's, in that sense, it's entirely living up to expectations.
Yeah, I was worried when you said, we're expecting goals, because that was going to be the kiss of death, but thankfully not on this occasion. But we'll come back to this as Ben Rama's bringing the ball forward. He's looking for the pass now. And he decided to shoot in the end. Now, that was one where the shot wasn't good. It went over, and he might get some stick for his decision-making there, but
I would apologise to your team.
The runs ahead of him weren't giving him anything to aim at on that occasion.
I don't agree. Antonio had made a great run, and then he gave up because he could see Ben Rama was not going to release the ball to him. Benny,
I thought Antonio was pretty much
training tomorrow by way of apology.
No. Do you guys sort of get the feeling that in training over at Rush Green, Ben Rama's banging shots in from 30, 40 yards on a regular basis? Because the amount of times he's trying it during matches, and he doesn't seem to be getting anywhere near. But I wonder what's going on there.
I do worry that the manager's giving him one set of instructions, and somebody else might be giving him different instructions. I do worry about that.
Like who?
Like maybe his agents in his ear saying, I've had a word with their chairman and he'd really love to see you take more shots at goal, son. It's remember you're on a goal bonus and all the rest of it and blah, blah, blah. But I can't believe that David Moyes would continually pick a player who was just shooting from absurd distances most of the time, going for worldies, which hardly ever happen, and then keep picking him. It's not how you pick winning teams. It's not what you do, And for all his work rate, and he's got a terrific work ethic, Ben Rama, that final decision it would hack off a lot of fellow players, I would suggest. And how long before they all say, well, 10 of us did a good job tonight.
I'll make that the third long-range effort by Ben Rama in the game so far. We had 2 in the first half. The second one, of course, forced the save from Meslier, which may or may not have been the opportunity that led to the goal, and of course that one there. But Rio, he's not shy, is he, of pulling the trigger? He's young Ben Rama.
No, he's just lucky really that we're 2-0 up, because otherwise he'd be getting absolute pelters from us lot. Because he's just a little bit wasteful. He just doesn't really seem to think. He doesn't seem to look up too often. Yeah. He needs to really get into positions and think intelligently. But he's very much a head down player and charge at the goal and have a pop from that 30, 40 yards. As Pinky said, it doesn't come off that often in the Premier League. He's lucky we're playing the opposition we are, and that the crowd isn't in the ground at the moment because we may be 2 up, but it's a little bit edgy at times here, and we need to make this get a third here just to really kind of settle a little bit of nerves, because I know Leeds haven't offered much going forward, but the times that they have, then they could be level. You know, I mean, Bamford missed an absolute sitter. And when they do come forward, they're making little incisions behind our defence, and there's a little bit to worry about at the moment. We need that third.
Just seeing Cooper going late on Lingard and Souček, 2 for the price of 1, Gnome.
Yeah,
No card,
a
though.
little lucky to escape with a card there, I thought, particularly the Souček one. He got the ball first, but it's one of those ones where he made sure he got quite a lot of the player on the follow through deliberately. Yeah. So, a bit naughty that one. He's got away with it, but I think Leeds are about to make their third change, and it's 20. Rodrigo is stripped and ready to come on as Leeds play the ball in the inside left channel. Bamford's on it at the edge of the box, waiting for support. Doesn't get any support and decides to have the shot. And it's one of those ones where had he been Benrahma, we'd have been questioning his decision making. There was support coming up on the right hand side for Leeds there, which there were 2 or 3. There was somebody totally unmarked. Who's 2 there? Totally unmarked. That was Ayling was screaming for it. And they're making the change. Roberts is off and Rodrigo is on.
A bit of concern on YouTube chat, Pinky, about Philip's hairdo. Apparently, Hobo Chamber reckons it looks like a bobble hat without the hat. What do you make of that?
I actually think the whole Leeds United team have had some kind of a competition as to who's got the most absurd, hair setup. I mean, the lad that's just come on there. I mean, seriously, I know we've had the lockdown and people can't get to barbers, but who cut his hair? And why didn't they turn the lights on when they did it? I mean, it's an absolute mess, isn't it? And all of them look pretty grim. But I do question sometimes whether some of them want to be fashion models or professional footballers. I mean, could you ever imagine the great Alvin Martin or Billy Bonds mucking around with their hair? Alvin
Martin would welcome the chance.
Yeah, I know. But, when he was a younger player, he had a fine head. Well, hang on a minute. I mean, didn't Alvin sport a perm knots in his younger days?
Very fashionable at the time. What's wrong with that?
Souček is taking some punishment here at the moment. He's just been Souček's been fouled, and Benrahma's also been clipped as well. So we've got a free kick just outside the penalty area, wide of the penalty area. So again, another set piece. This could be interesting. So again, we've got Soufal there. Good no-nonsense haircut, Soufal. Cresswell will probably take this, I think, though. Soufal runs over it. Cresswell plays the ball in. It's headed down. It's loose. Rice gets the shot in. It's deflected away for a corner, but people are claiming handball there. Well, we'll have a look, I suppose. VAR always does, but it's going to be a corner at least, which, given our record with penalties today, let's have a look. Elbow in by the side. They're not going to get given. Now, that second one looked a little bit like there might have been a bit of that going on. Let's have a look again.
Bit of the old, chicken dance going on there.
Yeah, first one, not particularly. Second one, there was a little bit of that going on, but
he's all right there.
He's not going to get that. But I think we're more deadly from corners than we are from penalties anyway. Cresswell corner, not a good one for a change. Headed out to the edge of the box. We bring it back in, chip back in. Antonio was looking dangerous there, but it was cut out before it got to him. And need to be a bit careful here because it was 1-on-1 there, but we've got back a bit. Bamford's held it up and everyone comes streaming back. So the immediate danger is not there, but Leeds are beginning to build again.
63 minutes gone. West Ham United 2, Leeds United 0. A couple of elbows. I think they're pinky in the penalty area, but you know, no, neither of them you would necessarily say were in an unnatural position.
Yeah, no, I think the ref right there, and Fabianski's just made he made look a very straightforward save from a pretty decent shot from Leeds United there. But again, you know, we were playing a very narrow back four there. They had a player, you know, out wide on our right, their left, in acres of space. And I think it may have been Craig Dawson calling for someone to get back and pick him up, but we got away with one there.
All about the positioning with Fabianski there. The save looked easy because he was in the right place.
Yeah, good stuff
sorry, that makes it just sound like he was there accidentally. He was anticipating if you watch him moving across his goal. That's what I meant, rather than just like watch now as the ball comes across, he's already moving across there. Good save. But yeah, again, see him scuttling across, and he's already there. He's gone from the post out to the middle of the goal there in 2 strides. That'd probably take me 5.
We are pretty much halfway through the second half. West Ham still leading by 2 goals to 0. But the question on everyone's lips right now is, Rio, what T-shirt have you got on tonight, buddy? We haven't asked you yet.
I'm on the Marth, Swedish death metal band, like a bit of Viking rock. So, yeah, and also Eamon, obviously in honour of our erstwhile colleague as well. Spelt differently, obviously spelt in a Swedish manner, but you know, little tribute.
I can see, Pinky, that's one of your favourite bands as well.
I had never ever heard of them. Okay, and I'm sorry, but you know, where's your Bob Seger T-shirt? Someone that's actually, you know, famous. Yeah, someone that's actually sold a couple of albums. Yeah, heavens above. Youth of today.
And Gnome, you're forsaking the band T-shirts today for the lumberjack look, I think, by the looks of it.
I've been on. I sort of came straight from the kitchen table office today, so I didn't bother to go upstairs and get changed. It's band T-shirts are kind of frowned upon in the profession. So but now, so we've just beginning to go forward again, and Souček's been tugged back a couple of times there, but that's been ignored and it'll be a throw into Leeds. Yeah, I mean, so we're just talking about you look at our players. I mean, good, sensible haircuts pretty much all the way through. And as Pinky said, Leeds seem to be having a who can look the stupidest competition. And it's a tough one. I wouldn't like to be judging that one. Leeds just forced the corner. A shot from 20 again. Rodrigo from the edge of the box just gets blocked, and it's a corner to Leeds on their left-hand side, our right. Leeds are obviously having to chase the game a bit. We're kind of sort of sitting back a little bit rather than try to impose ourselves on them. But I can see us on a break, sort of making it 3, and then that will be the end of it. Corner comes in. It's not a very good one, but Cresswell clears at the near post. It'll go for another corner.
Just like to point out, Pinky, there's a comment on the YouTube chat which that I've got impeccable music taste, and I can't deny that. So stick that up your jumper, mate.
Not an awful lot of room left up my jumper, to be fair, Rio. So
corner comes across, and that's Souček clearing. Leeds still trying to force a way through, but it's cleared again. Back on the halfway line now with Leeds as and another long ball's played forward, but again it's snapped up. Leeds not that wasn't very intelligent from Leeds. Yeah, they had a chance to build and push wide, but they just tried to ping it straight into the box, and they're now having to try and force a way through again now.
We are we're getting close, Gnome, to that 70-minute mark where we know David Moyes likes to think about making substitutions. Is anyone out there that you see is looking a bit tired and may potentially need replacing right now? Maybe one of the attacking midfield three, Jesse Lingard, been a bit quiet this second half, perhaps?
Yeah, I'd leave him on because is it next week? When have we got Man United? Is that next week?
It's our next game, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Sunday.
yeah.
Night.
So I'd leave him on because he's going to get a week off anyway. So Lingard I'd leave on. Barama's been quiet second half, maybe. Maybe Bowen on for him and freshen things up a little bit there. But nobody's leaping out and saying sub me to me at the moment. It's we're just sort of. I'd just like to see us pushing at them a little bit more. I mean, obviously they're chasing the game, so there is a bit more emphasis on that. But I mean, I don't just to assuade Pinky, who's going to say no, we don't want to go gung ho game management. I'm not suggesting we go all gung ho, etc. But we're giving them a little bit too much in the way of possession. Having said that, they've given it away to us now, and we come forward on the break with Antonio, who's.
I've just found the comment on marching on together.
Antonio's still got the ball. Benrahma tries to flick it over through to Lingard, doesn't quite get through, but Souček just tries to nip in and just clips the player there, which, given the clatterings that he's been having off the ball today, it seems a little bit unfair to penalise him for that. Especially, it's one of those ones where two players goes for the ball. Souček gets there first, and the other player kicks his foot and goes down. And those always seem a bit untoward and unfair. I've just been kicked here.
Pinky, you were going to come in with a point there?
Yeah, just a comment that you were nailed on to put in the opposition view this week. Yeah, you know, and it's from their CJ, their superstar poster. He's got 6 stars, whatever that means. Probably that he stays in hotels where you need to drink 2 bottles of Hennessy to get to sleep. But his confidence in looking at us versus them at set pieces like adults versus children. We look so small. And here's the killer line. Dallas marking Antonio, for goodness sake. Antonio probably bench press Dallas. Yeah.
Leeds have just won another corner, right hand side. Sorry, Cresswell keeping awake there to stop the cross coming in. Dallas just had a shot charged down from Diop, which a little bit lax in. We could have. I think we had options to clear the ball there, but didn't. But anyway, corner's coming across now. Now there's bobbled about a bit, but we've brought it away, and now there's this. Fornals is on the ball now.
Look at Antonio. Look at that design. Oh. Absolutely superb effort from Mikel Antonio there. Do you know what? You're a manager. You're watching that. You're in the 72nd minute, and your mate doing men's striker is busting a gut to get upfield.
Just the same link can't get that. That's a couple of times that's happened where we've been bursting forward at a decent ball. We had players over on the left-hand side, a decent ball from the right. Unfortunately, it got cut out, and Meslier was there to prevent the corner as well, which would have been, again, more interesting. But I mentioned earlier on that I could see a third coming from some sort of position like that, where they're pushing forward and we sort of sucker them in and get them on the break. Well, that nearly proved me right.
We haven't had any match stats tonight. I'm just realised, so I'll throw those in very quickly while there's a slight lull. Possession so far: West Ham 36% to Leeds 64%. West Ham 13 shots, 4 on target. Leeds 9 shots, only 2 on target. West Ham 6 corners to Leeds 5. So another one of those games, Rio, where West Ham conceding the bulk of possession. Gnome?
Yeah, sorry, just substitution now. Bowen on for Benrahma.
Good stuff. So the first change, as expected, round about the 70-minute mark for West Ham. Jared Bowen coming on for Benrahma. And no, I'll come back to you in a second, Rio. But Benrahma's been a bit quiet tonight, no? Apart from
Yeah,
those 3 shots
it
from
was a
long
little
range.
bit more involved in the first half, but second half we've needed a little bit. Well, we've sat back in the second half. Let's be honest here, and it's where we were going forward like the first half. Then you want Benrahma running onto the ball. Now, oh dear, that's woeful. Sorry, Leeds had a deflected ball come through at Harrison on the left-hand side of the box. It's, I think, a woeful slice, I think, is the best way I can. Oh dear. That was pure Howlett. That was. Yeah, very woeful from Leeds there. Got a good position, accidentally, admittedly, but yeah. Sorry, we were talking Benrahma. Yeah, the second half hasn't been his half. We've not been going forward enough. He's not been on the ball to bring the game to them because we haven't been bringing the game to them.
Yep.
Yeah, Bowen may bring a little bit more defensively as Antonio wins ahead and nods it on, but Bowen can't get onto that. Yeah, it's sort of settling down now. Leeds are, say, desperately looking for an equaliser. They're obviously having a lot more to possession. Possession stats should be interesting this half, but yeah, shots like they've just had aren't going to get them anywhere.
It strikes me that Bielsa looks like he's been sitting on an imaginary toilet for the last 90 minutes. Not quite sure where his bench is today, but it's almost as if he doesn't need one. Pinky, we talk all the time about Benrahma.
Now,
you know, we've been critical of him in the past. What's your verdict on that tonight?
Curious egg. I mean,
oh dear.
I'm quite critical of him generally, but I want him to do well. I still think he's got to improve his decision making dramatically for me.
Yeah.
There was absolutely, nothing wrong with the simple pass to find a teammate. And equally, there's nothing wrong with the ambition to have a shot and try and get a goal. But judgment is everything, and decision making is everything at this level. And there were just a couple of times tonight when the players around him will start to lose confidence in him because he's trying the worldies, they're not coming off.
Yeah.
And if you're working hard and you say, just give me this simple pass, son, and if it doesn't happen week after week, pretty soon you'll be saying to the manager, look, why am I having to play with that guy? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Benrahma, is in danger of making himself, dare I say it, unpopular by trying a bit too hard himself, if you get my drift. Yeah. That would be my take. And I think tonight we've seen a bit more of it. I mean, he's, I'm sure Leeds would love to have him in their team, but, I'm not convinced there's enough end product there.
Okay, we've just seen West Ham miss a free kick. Gnome, was there a yellow card there? I didn't see one.
I didn't see the yellow card. It was one of those ones where Souček got to the ball first, and good cut out from Diop there. Souček got the ball first, and the wild hack at it from Llorente. And I'll come back to that as Antonio's going down the ring, plays the ball inside to find out who gets it caught under his feet and then loses the ball. Yeah, Llorente had a wild hack really at Souček. It was at the ball, but Souček having got there first, he connected with the player rather than the ball. Leeds coming forward now, ball played into Bamford. Oh, now that's a bad shot, but it's brought. Oh, that should have been a goal. Bamford's shot, he screwed it wide, but it was. I'm not sure who was following up there. It might have been Rodrigo. Pulled it back to Bamford, who then just spooned it over the bar. And the free kick from West Ham just didn't work. Ended up with Rice pulling it wide. Yeah, that's somebody who some people were calling for to be recognised for England. Really ought to have done a bit better than that with that.
Yeah, Rio, Bamford's been, fortunately for West Ham, quite wasteful this evening. I mean, I think he's probably had Leeds' 2 best chances of the match now, and can't find the target tonight.
No, It's what I've always thought about him. He's not clinical enough. No, and for an England wannabe England striker, you have to put them chances away.
Yeah.
And it's two incredibly wasteful opportunities. He's absolutely spurned there, and in Leeds' predicament, you know, he just can't do that. You know, they're chasing the game. He could have put them level, and he could put us almost in the Spurs-like position where they could have come from behind and absolutely damaged us here because our heads would have dropped. We looked so ragged at the back. Even now, they could have actually punished us here. But Bamford is the main culprit for not seeing Leeds make mugs of us, to be honest.
Yes, very wasteful tonight. Fortunately for the Hammers,
yellow card there
now,
for Lingard. Yellow card for Lingard. Basically, Cresswell gave sort of nothing foul away, and Lingard kicked the ball 50 yards away. So he's been given a yellow card for delaying the restart. You know, one of those.
The first West Ham player in the book tonight, the second player in the book overall. Leeds receiving a yellow card 4 minutes after the restart. Lingard, his first card for the Hammers since joining. But 10 minutes or so to go, Gnome. Any more goals, or do you think that's it now?
I think we might get. I still think we might get one more on the break there. Sorry, Leeds have just had a shot that's about 10 yards over the bar. It was you're getting you're getting desperate when you're having shots from 35 yards like that with everything ahead of you. And Bielsa's doing his nut there on his imaginary bog. And, but yeah, I think we might get one more on the break. I think when we actually do sort of break forward, we look as if there's still a chance of scoring. Of course, all we've got to do is work a corner and see what happens. So yeah, 10 minutes left, exactly 10 minutes left. What, 9 and a bit now.
Come up. The Leeds have had 13 chances in this second half. We really can't afford to be giving away that number of opportunities. It's just really lucky that Leeds are so poor at the moment, because had this been a better opposition, we could have been absolutely destroyed today.
Yeah, statistically, it says West Ham have had 14 shots, Leeds 15 overall.
You say 13 chances, though. I mean, what are we talking about? Define a chance there. Because if you're defining that shot that just happened a minute ago as a chance, as an effort on goal that's wide, then, you know, I could sit there and they could have 100 of those all day as far as I'm concerned, because it means then they're running out of ideas. Yeah.
It's just for a team that's normally so defensively sound and compact, and we've done so well at containing teams all year, to squander that kind of opportunity. It's a sheer volume, isn't it? And one day we'll get absolutely caught out and absolutely pummeled by a shocking team like this.
I mean, I'll compare this to a typical championship game where the ball changes sides so fast and so frequently. Generally in the championship, it's because the player's individual touch isn't sufficiently sound to retain possession, you know, when they're pressurized. But here, it's a woeful disregard of hanging onto the ball. You're bordering, by both teams, bordering on the bonkers. I mean, you know, Moyes has obviously been, you know, taking a leaf out of Bielsa's book almost. It's borderline madness the way that we're giving the ball away tonight, and both teams. This could be 30 each. You know, it's one of those sorts of games, if you get my drift. Absolutely bonkers.
Well, we did say that we was expecting chances in this game, and I guess that's the way it's turned out so far. 30 shots at goal between the two teams. Polaroid on the live chat saying that Pinky has put the hex on Bamford. Bravo, sir. Gnome, over to you.
Yeah, another change looking imminent, although he's now putting his jacket back on. So Johnson was looking like coming on. He's got his kit on, but he's put a jacket on over the top of that. So they're going to wait a minute or two. But normally once he's got his proper kit on, you know that at some stage he's going to be coming on. him probably having spent the last 15 minutes changing into it.
Had a tough game at Man City, didn't he? Gnome Johnson was, a little bit overawed. It looked at times.
I don't know. I thought he grew into it a little bit. So he got better. He improved as the game went on. I thought in that one. Earlier on it was a little bit, say, rabbit in headlights, but it's a good tackle by Bowen. Now, Bowen's claiming that came off the Leeds player, and I must admit, I think he had a case there, but Leeds get the throw in and they're still sort of trying to probe, but they're finding it very difficult to break down.
Yep, we're inside the last 7 minutes now. West Ham just a few minutes away from going back to 5th in the table. Dropped. I mean, it didn't really work out in our favour, did it, Rio? That 9-day break. Although, having been beaten by Man City, we sort of saw. I mean, it was interesting how we went into that game 9 points clear of Tottenham, and all of a sudden they're level on points with us, or at least were prior to tonight's game, anyway.
No, I mean, but you expect that with games to be caught up and because that you expect teams to make their moves and pick up points and make life difficult for teams around them. The thing that's most affected us is the way that we're so disjointed. With really solid display against City, where we worked our nuts off. We was compact. We defended incredibly well, and it's not like they spent the last 9 days and they don't even know each other. It's complete bizarre. Sometimes you hear games called ill-disciplined because there's tackle flying in left, right, and centre, red cards and yellow cards everywhere. This is ill-disciplined because both sides haven't got a clue what they're doing. It's just completely gung-ho and brainless, to be honest.
Yes, it's almost as if we're playing at the level of the opposing team rather than our own level, I guess, in some ways. But anyway, it's all good so far. Let's not be too.
Johnson's got his jacket off now, so I think the next time the ball goes dead, he'll be on. Okay,
that would be West Ham's second substitution, with Ben Rama having been replaced by Jarrod Bowen in the 73rd minute. Leeds, of course, having already brought all 3 substitutions on, 3 regulation substitutions, of course, that is, on so far, 2 at the start of the second half. And then there was a third it's Rodrigo. Rodrigo coming on for Roberts on the hour mark. So no more changes expected from Leeds, but we are sort of cruising towards Gnome. And something's happened. Gnome.
Well, we've just cleared up one off the line there. That's Dawson who's geeing people up. Ball played in from the right. Ayling played it in. It came actually off Soufal, I think, and was going towards the goal. I didn't quite see who cleared it off the line, but that prevented an own goal rather than anything else. Leeds attacking again. Ayling tries to keep it in. It's gone out for a goal kick. No doubt they'll show that again. I think
Dawson
cleared it off the line. Yeah, I mean, dangerous looking cross first time in from Ayling. Bamford jumped over it rather than take a shot. It came off Soufal and Dawson saved Soufal's blushes. Bamford, though, again, really ought to have been attacking that ball, oughtn't he? Not jumping over it.
It's interesting, though. I mean, we mentioned Soufal there and Pinky, and it's been an unusual game for the Czech, isn't it? I mean, we're used to seeing bombing down that right flank and being involved in a lot of attacking play for West Ham. Not being the case tonight. I don't think we've seen him hit that right flank once.
No, we've clearly David Moyes has instructed them to play a particular way this evening. Because actually, the back 4 have been super disciplined. Full backs either side of the box, essentially, to the point where they were just happy to give Leeds United the space outside on the flank. And it wouldn't be because Soufal is too lazy to go out and try and close them down. There was clearly an instruction given, and that's how we've chosen to play this evening. I can't imagine them just deciding, well, I can't be bothered tonight. So, I'd expect to see things what I would normally have expected to see tonight. Very often we've appeared without the ball to drop to a 4-5-1. We haven't
there we go, guys.
to put the 5th player along the back line tonight, which surprises me a little bit. We've been very open and we've let Leeds get at us. And I can only imagine it's because, do you know what? we're going to score one more than you. That kind of approach.
I
A
think
couple of things to jump in on. Firstly, the Johnson substitutions made. Lingard's the player coming ashore, and we had a promising break on there, but perhaps we've won ear on Pinky's usual thing about us going for a goal on 87 minutes. Fornals looked as if he was in a decent position to go forward, and instead held the ball up.
Aiming, get a card for that, son.
Yeah,
that was a spiteful challenge. That's a bookie.
Yeah, Bowen seems to attract a few of those, doesn't he? Have a look again. Yeah, just clipped
we're a bit harsh on Ailing there, but it's yeah.
Clipped him a bit. Yeah, but yeah. So as I say, Fornals, promising position there, and could have taken it forward, and instead held the ball up. As I say, usually because it's usually about this time that Pinky sort of gives us his usual, we don't want to be going for another goal on 87 minutes speech.
We're closing in on the final minute of normal time. West Ham United 2, Leeds United 0. The Hammers on their way up to 5th in the table once again, barring a disastrous collapse in the added on time here as Marcelo Bielsa once again squats on his imaginary potty, looks utterly dejected and a little bit angry actually, but disappointed with the way things have gone tonight, as you would expect. But Rio, it's been a case of, set pieces again have sort of undone Leeds, hasn't it? We scored from, well, both goals, I suppose, technically coming from set pieces if you count the penalty as a set piece. Yeah, it's been Leeds undoing yet again against West Ham. It was Ogbonna last time at Ellen Road who capitalised from a set piece. Dawson again tonight. Yeah,
no, we've exploited their weaknesses to the full and played to our strengths to the full in terms of converting our set piece. It's not a shock, is it? The stats over the course of the season have borne out tonight. It's just been an incredibly strange game. Been no sense of discipline, no tactical awareness by any of the teams. It's just completely. It's a little bit bizarre, entertaining, but it's been heart-stopping at times. It's just been really, really bizarre.
We're in the 20 seconds into 3 minutes of stoppage, by the way.
3 minutes added on at the end of the game. Gnome, have you been entertained tonight?
It's always difficult being when you're sort of concentrating on the game. It's not been a classic, but yeah, it's been all right. It's as I say, not one for any defensive coaches watching. I think you'd have a heart attack as Antonio brings the ball away now. Fornals has a shot from yards, but it's blocked, and Bowen's gone down. We've got a throw in on the right hand side. So 2 minutes left. Dawson's been given the Sky man of the match. And all that, so just thought I'd share that with you. I don't suppose we're going to be doing too much in the way of attacking intent down by the corner flag here, but as Bowen tries to keep it, he's got it right in the corner flag now, and that'll be a throw in down in the corner flag to Leeds.
Pinky, entertained tonight, or are you a little bit frustrated by what you've seen?
It's been an entertaining game of football, but I think that we've kind of fallen into the trap of playing it the Leeds United way. You have a go, then we'll have a go, and so it's the sort of game. If the supporters had been in the stadium tonight, we'd have seen the lot. 2 disallowed goals, a penalty that they saved that we then scored in off the rebound. End-to-end attacks, lots of oohs, lots of ahs. I think supporters in the ground would have loved it ultimately tonight. They've come away tonight saying, good game. But actually, I'm not convinced it is a good game. I think both teams have been too open. So not bothered about Leeds, but I think the number of chances that we have gifted them by some sloppy defending is worrying. Dawson, who Sky have given the man of the match to, I totally endorse. I think they've called that absolutely right. I see we've made another little switch there with Dawson and Diop swapping sides for a while. Hello. But you know, it's entertaining. If the name of the game is entertainment, which it is, I think you'd watch this and say 2-0. And listen to me, whinging and
There's the
moaning.
final whistle.
Yeah, we've just won 2-0. We're 5th place in the Premier League with 11 matches left. You know, what a dreadful season we're having.
There is the final whistle at the London Olympic Stadium. It has finished. West Ham United 2, Leeds United 0. West Ham's goals both coming in the first half. In the 21st minute, Jesse Lingard with a penalty saved by Leeds, scored on the rebound by Lingard to put West Ham 1 goal ahead. The second goal coming 6 minutes later. Once again, Leeds being undone by a set piece. Aaron Cresswell's deep centre nodded in by an on-rushing Craig Dawson to double West Ham's advantage. West Ham could have been 3-0 up before half-time when Dawson again headed onto the post from another Cresswell corner. And in the 7th minute of the second half, Pablo Fornals hit the woodwork again. West Ham, the guy who does West Ham clips, is going to be loving this one. And his 25-yard effort onto the crossbar, pinging off the crossbar. And then 4 minutes from time, Craig Dawson once again was on hand to clear the ball off the line as Sue Fowle very nearly scored an own goal. But it does finish West Ham United 2, Leeds United 0. West Ham are back up to 5th in the Premier League. Rio, your immediate post-match thoughts?
It's a good 3 points. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't particularly something I don't think David Moyes will look back with relish, the way that we performed. But 3 points is 3 points. We're back up to 5th. We're on the cusp of the Champions League again. You know, you can only beat what's in front of you. Leeds were incredibly wasteful, but both teams treated the ball like it was a hot potato. No one wanted to put their foot on the ball, get the time and the respect that the football deserves. It was just completely gung-ho, brainless football from both sides. As we said, from a neutral's point of view, you're probably well entertained by that. I was more frustrated by the end because the amount of times we conceded clear-cut opportunities for them to carve out, the amount of space we offering behind. For a team that's defended so well all season and made their mark on the Premier League this season by being so efficient and compact to the back, we look absolutely ragged. We missed Angelo Bonner big time there. We need something to take over that back line, bang their heads together and say, like, wake up, because we've just absolute shocking at the back. Add to that the midfield really didn't keep the ball well. You know, it's 3 points more fortune than how can I put it? More fortuitous than by design. Let's put it that way. We're just lucky that we come up against a Leeds side who really don't look cut out for this. And I think in the morning that David Moyes be getting the site together and making them watch this on the replay of this game, picking up the defensive areas that we really lack tonight. I just think Bielsa get the lead side, stick him in front of the Argos category and show me every bloody dustbin they got there to sit on. Because they ain't got a defensive coach in him. So, yeah, it's 3 points, good 3 points. Not pretty at all.
No, West Ham United 5th in the Premier League. 2 goals scored, another clean sheet. What do you make of that lot?
Yeah, I think Rio, it's slightly harsh on us. I think overall, I think we were the better team. I think we come back this definition of chances, and only a couple of times was we heart in the mouth. Really, what would have been a Soufal own goal when they worked it through, but they got a shot that Fabianski did well to save. But yeah, other than that, I mean, really sort of heart in mouth time. I thought it was reasonably comfortable. I'd have liked to have seen us take the game to them more in the second half. I know they were chasing the game, but we kind of sat back and allowed that. There were a few times that we caught them on the break, and you know, a final ball, especially from that right hand side, where I think a couple of times it was Lingard, where we had players spare over on the left, and he didn't beat getting that ball across. He didn't beat the first man.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, we're not going to be playing everybody off the park every single week. Some weeks you just have to sort of do what you do to get a win, and it's not as perfect as you'd like it to have been. But you know, would any of us have complained at 2-0 at full time? I mean, it says a lot, doesn't it? Yeah, 12 months ago, we'd have taken any old 2-0 win against anybody, not giving a monkey's how it came. Now we're getting picky about how we played during it. And, you know, 5th in the league, is that double-digit plus goal difference as well now? I haven't seen the table properly yet.
Yep, plus 11 now.
Yeah, plus 11. I mean, I can't remember the last time we were this far into a season with a positive goal difference.
Well, don't worry, we'll probably lose 10-0 at Man United next week, so that'll sort it out. Thank you, Gnome.
Have a think about this. Then. We not play, okay, we not play marvellously, shall we say, but we were good enough to win that, and win it we did. Now, in the next few weeks, don't know about Ogbonna, but Masuaku might be fit before the end of this month. You know, we've got him to come into the side, which, remember, it was the way he was playing with our as a wing back, with Cresswell playing as the sort of extra left-sided centre back, that sort of kick-started our season really. And we've got Masuaku to come back, maybe Ogbonna as well. I don't know. I'm not quite as up to date with Ogbonna's injury situation, but you know, we've got those two to come into the team. You know, maybe those will come back in just at a time when we need a boost.
We'll have a chat about that in just a moment, I think, because it's an interesting topic. But before we do that, let's go to Pinky for his post-match roundup. West Ham United 2, Leeds United 0. Another win for the Hammers, another clean sheet, plus 11 goal difference. My word, what a season we're having. But was it really that good tonight?
Yeah, and I don't think we were that great this evening. I really don't, because if you say other than the goals, where were the real oohs and ahs of the Leeds keeper tonight? I think Leeds carved out the better chances in open play, but Bamford had an off night. I think for us, it was a comfortable 2-0 win. Albeit for my liking, the game was far too open, almost the entire 90, and better teams than Leeds United would punish us. But you know, we're in 5th spot. It's a plus 11 goal difference, you know, and we're now down to picking faults in, well, maybe they were the wrong kind of goals this evening, you know, kind of thing. It was the wrong kind of winning performance, 2-0 at home.
Yeah,
rubbish.
There was a grave danger that we're now actually getting used to winning so often that you know, we're now getting a bit too picky and going all a bit Spursy or Liverpool-like on it. So you take the 3 points, you'd absolutely say, you know what, we've done the job. You know, and that is the job, is to win the game. That's the name of the game. And so well done to them all tonight. Very, very happy. There's one or two of the players who have got very serious reservations over. And we desperately need Angelo Ogbonna back in defence, because Issa Diop, in my opinion, is a goal waiting to happen every single game. He makes far too many errors. He goes to sleep far too easily. And, you know, frankly, Bamford should have had a hat-trick this evening. You know, he had enough chances to. Not all down to Diop, but Diop, I think, is a player that, I've said it before, come the summer, we need to move him on, because he isn't good enough. He isn't a trainee anymore. You know, he's not a youngster, as in totally young. And I'm not convinced there's enough raw material there that says by the time he's 28, he'll be a Premier League standard centre back. So for me, he's a big concern, because Ogbonna plays tonight. I think 2 or 3 of those chances that Leeds carved out just wouldn't be happening. On the other side of the coin, I think Craig Dawson has been, again, outstanding, both this evening and pretty much since he came into the team.
Yeah,
I think he's clearly the leader in the back line at the moment in Ogbona's absence. You know, and he made a couple of telling interventions himself tonight, not least the goal chance he cleared off the line. So that plus 11 doesn't happen by accident. That's a result of scoring some goals and making sure the opposition don't. So, yeah, I'm happy tonight. We've won okay. And we're still in with a shout, you know. I think Chelsea, they're a bit above us, but we've got a game in hand. Leicester City, I think, will be the team, if anyone's going to implode, they might be the team that actually drops out of the top 4. And I just want to be sure that we're there to keep going right to the end of the season. If we don't quite make it, so be it. But I think if we do make it, given the size of our squad, you'd have to say David Moyes would be a pretty strong candidate for manager of the season, wouldn't you?
yeah.
You know.
Very much so. Very much so. Good stuff, team. I'm going to throw some stats at you now before we go to the forums. Gnome, I guess, as always, you'll be keeping an eye out to see if Mr. Moyes and Mr. Bielsa are ready to talk to the media. Hopefully, it'll be slightly quicker than his Friday press conference. But anyway, we'll jump into those if anything happens. Some stats, as I said for you. Well, here's a good one for you. First of all, talk about the difference a year makes. 8th of March. 2020, West Ham are 16th in the Premier League. They've played 29 matches. They've won 7, drawn 6, lost 16, and have 27 points. A year on, 8th of March 2021, 5th in the Premier League, played 27 matches, won 14, drawn 6, lost 7, with 48 points. 21 points extra from 2 fewer games. Incredible stuff. Declan Rice. Didn't hear an awful lot about him tonight, but once again, he's pulled out all the stops and produced some stats for his game tonight. 92% pass accuracy from Declan, 9 ball recoveries, 4 tackles attempted, 4 clearances, 3 tackles won, and 3 interceptions. As for Leeds have now lost 13 of their last 14 games in London in all competitions, losing all 5 in the capital in the Premier League this season. So perhaps we shouldn't be too surprised at that result tonight. West Ham have now won 3 consecutive home Premier League matches for the first time since March 2019, while David Moyes has registered 3 victories in a row at home in the competition for the first time since winning his last 6 as Everton manager in 2013. How about that? Points this season, what about that? If the league table was just 2021, Manchester City would be top of the table with 39 points. Guess who'd be second? You don't really have to guess. It's not a difficult one. West Ham, 25 points in 2021. Then 3 teams behind us in joint third. Leicester, Manchester United and Chelsea have all taken 24 points this season. Some comments on the game from some ex-Hammers. Tony Cotty says, another 3 points in the bank. Brilliant. On to Old Trafford. Zavon Hines, great win and performance, says Zav. Jimmy Walker, enjoyable game. That had a bit of everything. Great stuff. Great stuff. Let's talk about Gnome brought something up a little while ago. We were talking about defensive reinforcements. The defense is pretty much picking itself so far, Rio. But as was pointed out, there's Gnome pointed out, Angelo Ogbonna and Arthur Masuaku aren't too far away from being ready for selection once again. What do you do as David Moyes? You've got a dilemma then. Do you see him bringing those 2 straight back into the team, or do you think, Ogbonna, I guess you might expect would come straight in at the expense of Diop, but would Masuaku have to fight for his place again?
Ogbonna wants back in the team instantly for me. He's been their best defender by a million miles for the last 2-3 seasons. As for Arthur, we all know he's decent going forward. He causes a lot of problems for the opposition, but as Pinky rightly says, he causes a lot of problems for our back line as well. It's another long list of decision-making frailties, isn't it? Ben Rama's got it. Arthur's got it in abundance. So he's a great squad option to have, but he doesn't start every week for me. It depends on the lineup, the defensive setup that Moyes wants to play for any particular game. If we play with a back 5, obviously Arthur fits in straight away because he's got that natural attacking ability and he gets up and down the pitch. We're just playing the back 4, then Aaron Cresswell's the man. Yeah, great squad option. Glad to see him back near fitness, but certainly not a starter for me. Certainly not at all.
Okay, good stuff. Gnome, you raised it. You mentioned the fact that both
Yeah.
players are going to be back soon. What do you make of that? Bonner a shoe-in instead of Diop, presumably?
It would be. I mean, you said there a second ago, Bonner, we said both of Bonner. Tell you what, do you want to come back to me? Because I've got Declan on the line now. So I'll come back
No
to
problem.
that.
No problem.
Bonner could be some way away. That's what I'll say.
Okay, no worries. I'll pass that one straight over to Pinky now. It's probably pointless asking you about Diop, Pinky, given your position on a young defender. But Masuaku, perhaps more of a dilemma for Moyes. You know, he was firing on all cylinders, wasn't he, before the injury, or before the operation, should I say? But would you expect him to have to work his way back into the team?
Subject to him being fit, I'd include him bizarrely. And you know, if you wind the tape back a year, I'd have been calling for him to be deported to some part of the world from which he's never allowed to enter East London ever again. For me, where we are now in the business end of the season, as strange as it may seem when we're sitting in 5th spot, outrageous comment of the season coming up. Draws are no good to us in this position. We need wins because the teams around us are going to win most weeks. So if we have genuine ambition to finish as high up as we possibly can, as opposed to our usual pitiful clinging on for grim death or life at this stage of a season, we need to recognise that wins are what will move us up the table. Yeah, because Tottenham can outscore anyone on the day if they want to with their firepower. Tuchel has got Chelsea very well organised, no question about that. You know, and I said it earlier, I think our best hope is to pick up more wins than Tottenham and hope that Leicester implode. But we've got to win matches. So in terms of the way I'd go, I don't see it as a 5 at the back when we put Masuaku in the team per se. I think it turns into more of an attacking threat going forward. I think the problem you've got, if you put Masuaku in, and let's say you naturally go with the ball to say a 3-5-2 kind of thing, where would that leave Ben Rama? I'm not convinced he gets in the starting 11. I think you'd end up with Lingard and Antonio as your front pairing, if that's the way you went. But I'd certainly have Masuaku there or thereabouts for his attacking capability. And so, yeah, for me, he gets in. Ogbonna is a shoo-in. As soon as he's fit, straight back in the starting 11, no question. But these are nice problems to have for the manager. They are nice problems for him to have. And I just hope they all grasp this now. Forget the draws. Because you know what? If we finish mid-table, pint of bother, so to speak. But how many times are we going to be in with a chance of cracking that top 4? And top 4 is not a trophy. You don't win anything for top 4 other than chance to play against some teams you don't normally play against for a couple of matches. But I think it gives the supporters a lift. It'll make it easier to attract better players in the summer with whatever budget we've got. And so for now, seize the moment, recognise 11 games remaining, win 9 of them, and we'll be in the top 4. It's that simple. Win 7 of them, and I don't think we will.
Okay. Carpe diem, says Pinky. Some match stats for you before we go to Gnome and Declan Rice. We haven't been through the final stats, so here they are. Possession: West Ham 35% to Leeds 65%. West Ham 16 shots, 5 on target. Leeds 17 shots, only 2 on target. There it is again. West Ham denying the opposition, any shots on target at all, as we've seen so frequently in recent weeks. West Ham 6 corners, Leeds 6 corners. West Ham conceding 9 fouls, Leeds also conceding 9 fouls, and the expected goals stat at full time: West Ham 2.43 expected goals to Leeds 1.4. Patrick Bamford probably responsible for much of that. Gnome, Declan Rice has been speaking to the TV broadcasters. What did he have to say? He's still on there. We'll come back to know. He's still talking, I think. So we'll come back to him in a minute.
He's still speaking, yeah.
Okay, well, while you're doing that, that's quite handy, actually, because I can go to the other guys who've been keeping an eye on the forums for us. Rio, we're going to start with you. We're going to go to the KUMB.com forum match thread, and I would imagine there's a lot of happy hammers out there tonight. What's the verdict on what they've seen?
Yeah, definitely a lot of delighted hammers out there. Pablo J, excellent win for us tonight. Despite all of these possession and attacking play, I never really had any worries that we wouldn't win. We bossed them whilst they had the ball, but possibly we should have been a lot more positive. Jesse drifted in a bit in the second half. Dawson, Diop, Rice and Soucek all had good games. Benny buzzed around and was a nuisance to Leeds. Mikel held the ball up well, but I thought Fornells had an excellent match. He gets the ball and it's difficult to shift off it, and he deserved the goal. It's the same he hit the woodwork. Jeff Hurts, we hit the post and the bar. It could have been 4-0, it could have been 4-3. But who cares? We won again. No collapse after losing to City. I think we will get something from Manchester. Onwards and upwards, no looking down. But Antonio's not looking more than 80% fit. But we still found a way to win. Morthy Moy, hard work is paying off. Well in, boys. Dawson, Diop and Pablo were my pick tonight. Unlucky for Leeds. Enjoyed their style of play. Thankfully, they couldn't finish tonight. But I'm delighted for our team and our coaching staff. Crouching Hammer. It is admirable sitting back in so deep and trusting the defenders. And to be fair, they didn't let him down often. However, you concede that much possession, you will end up giving up clear-cut chances, which is what happened. I have much more confidence we are one goal ahead than we are when we are 2 up. When we're 2 up, we get so deep and completely cease playing any kind of controlling football and giving up chance after chance. But if you can't always be good, then at least be lucky. 2-0, a clean sheet, up to 5th. Happy days. And that's probably continuing the theme that running through the whole forum at the moment. We're delighted that we've won. We're delighted we picked up the points. We're delighted we're in 5th. Few concerns over the way we just sat back and let so much possession and chances come against us. I think the last one to really mention is Bonzo's beard. He's put, my biggest concern tonight is for that poor goalpost after Thomas Soucek crashed so painfully into it. Someone reckon they bandaged it up, so hopefully it will be all right and ready for the next game.
For those who missed it, yeah, we had that excellent comment at half time saying that the check's in the post. Who was that from, Rio? I can't remember now. Can you remember?
I think it was Sticky. I'll have to check, but I think it was Sticky.
Well done, Sticky, for the comment of the evening. In that case, thank you, Rio. Pinky has been keeping an eye on Marching On Together, the equivalent for Leeds of KUMB. Ooh, this is going to be fun. What are they saying up there in Yorkshire, Pinky?
Yeah, they're not too bad. They're not too bad. I mean, there's the odd muppet on there, but actually most of them are reasonably balanced and take the view, they're not yet a Premier League team. They know they lack quality in certain areas. And again, I called out their 2 fullbacks before kick-off tonight. And there's a couple of posts gone up on Marching On Together that points out that Ayling and Dallas are definitely weak spots in their team. And it just goes to show, we're picking faults in Cresswell and Soufal from time to time. It's such a key position in the modern game that you expect them to be able to defend, get forward, all the rest of it. And so these Leeds fans here, they are, here's a typical one. A decent second half, created a lot of chances, but poor finishing. Unfortunately, hopefully we'll start Saturday with the 11 that finished this one. Bamford has been decent this evening, worked very hard, but the barn door was on show this evening. And put a stat up on here about Bamford, something like he's scored 13 from 84 chances. And they're saying he needs 6.5 chances to get a goal. So that is Posh White pointing out that my opinion on Bamford isn't worth diddly squat. They're basically saying he's not good enough. My point was he was in our price bracket, and there's slightly different points. But there's a comment here, which Gnome's been watching Declan Rice, but one of their moderators, 1964, White, has just said Declan Rice not happy with West Ham's performance says it all. So, you know, fairly balanced stuff. But the odd comment, I think, comment about, you know, Antonio could bench press Dallas, I think is probably the pick of the bunch. I don't think they've got any fear of going down. There's not too much talk of relegation. But I think I sense a lot of frustration amongst the Leeds fans because they've been in the wilderness for a long time and have come back to a Premier League that looks completely different to the one they left. And it's a long, hard road ahead to be challenging for, you know, trophies and Europe and all the rest of it. And a lot of money they're going to need to spend, because if we did the head-to-head tonight, how many Leeds United players would get in the West Ham United starting 11?
I think that keeper might, but I'm not sure about the rest, or at least be a decent backup for Fabianski anyway. And of course, we've been linked with him, haven't we, in the last few days? Maybe Bamford as a squad player, though he hasn't had a good night tonight, has he?
No.
But you know,
but that just shows the difference. And you know, and equally, you could say we've got a good first 11, maybe a good first 12. Then what?
Yeah. Yep. Fair point. Fair point indeed. Gnome has been waiting to bring us news from House Rice. What is the Deckenbauer?
Yeah. Well, he was honest. He said happy with the result, but we weren't over happy with the performance. He said after 10 minutes, we all started talking to each other and saying, like, yeah, come on, lads, we've got to wake up here. And it's you know, as I say, he I think it worked, because after that we did start playing a bit better. Okay. He was asked about the penalty, and he said he'd been getting pelters from David Moyes back in the changing room about letting Lingard take it, and he's definitely going to be taking the next one, assuming he's on the pitch. And Noble isn't on the pitch, I presume. That was quite amusing. As to how far we can go, he said nobody's taking anything for granted, but it's certainly, in the 4 years he's been at the club, it's the best squad he's been with. And he was very, very fulsome in his praise for Souček. He said he's just a dream to play alongside. The understanding works. We both know where we're going to be. He's constantly talking, constantly communicating with Rice, and so he's obviously very happy with the position we find ourselves in. Just as Pinky was saying there, while I was waiting to tell you all that, I've had it on the old teletext subtitles, which are always amusingly dodgy when they're live. But the gist of what was being said there, that Carragher was saying, well, this is what the owners wanted with the Olympic Stadium, etc., etc. Rob Green was a little bit more guarded, and he said, but if you look, Souček has played pretty much every minute since he's been here. He said, Declan Rice, it's the same, he's played every minute. He said, who've they got there to replace either of those if either of those get injured? There's no one there. And so there was a bit of a note of caution, shall we say, from Rob Green. What I did like about Rob Green was a couple of times he referred to, we did this and we did that, which is always nice to see an ex-player. I mean, he played for a lot of clubs, so it's still nice, to hear him refer to the team as we. Yeah. We're just in an ad break at the moment, but I understand that as soon as that's gone, David Moyes, David Moyes is going to be the next cab off the rank there. So,
okay.
I've got some other quotes here from Lingard. We started slow. We weren't confident on the ball. We got the goals, but if we want to push on for top four, we need to be better than that, which is all, again, good and honest. It's about consistency. We dropped off it a bit today, but the 3 points are important. He's slightly amended the usual, each game as it comes. He says, we take each game step by step. I guess nobody wants to say take each game as it comes anymore. And yeah, we learn from each game. It's not going to be easy every game. Leeds game's a good game today. It's about objectives and taking confidence into the next game. Something else that Declan Rice said also that we touched upon, the 10-day break hadn't done any favours, and yeah, we'd lost a bit of momentum as a result of that, and it took us a while to get our momentum back. Bielsa said we played better in the second half than they did in the first. The differences in the first half were smaller than the second half. We created 10 opportunities without taking into account the disallowed goals. They were sufficient to deserve a better result. I don't ignore in those 30 minutes they created danger. That was important. And I'm guessing that somebody's overheard that on the BBC because they've got Bielsa up there now live. And what he's going to say is, because it just say Leeds United boss talking to Sky Sports. So I've already summarised that, so I won't bother listening.
Okay.
We're waiting for Moyes will be next up.
Good stuff. Well, while we're waiting for Moyes, I can give you a little David Moyes stat. Did you know that David Moyes has got more points in his last 11 games in charge of West Ham than he got in 38 matches in charge of Sunderland? 25 points, apparently. So, yeah, interesting little one. Couple of things to go now. We want to push this on because it is a late one. It's an 8 o'clock kickoff. The guys have got to get up early in the morning. So we're going to try and rush through the rest of what I would like to talk about. Friend of the show, Roshane Thomas, writer for The Athletic, has tweeted after the game to say Craig Dawson, Jesse Lingard and Aaron Cresswell deserve to be in the next England squad. Dawson has scored 3 goals in 13 league appearances. It's actually 4 if you take into account the FA Cup goal as well. Lingard has scored 4 goals, while Cresswell has provided 7 assists. Brilliant form, and they deserve a chance. Pinky, do they deserve a chance? Is Roshane right?
Lingard, maybe. The other 2, no. And as well as Dawson has performed this season, if you're England manager, you're not going to leave out John Stones in the form he's currently in to accommodate Craig Dawson, are you? Because you'd be slaughtered. It doesn't matter the respective merits of what they're doing for their club so much. You know, Southgate would be absolutely battered in the press if he put Dawson in the head of Stones. So he's just not going to do it. You know, Cresswell, you know, Gordon touched on it earlier. Yeah, what he does for us is offer a positive impact. I'm not sure that it'd have the same impact in the international team. So that both of those 2 are doing superbly for West Ham. Mm-hmm. But no, I think Roshane's getting a bit carried away there, a bit almost we say a bit fan-like in his judgment there, which is nice. It's nice that actually, you know, someone in the fourth estate is bigging up our players, albeit if only they were our players, because 2 of them aren't. But no, I think he's called that one wrong. I think he's being a little bit generous there.
Okay, Roshane, of course, as we know from his appearance on our show earlier in the year, he's a big West Ham fan, a lifelong Hammer, like the rest of us. So quite possibly true. Rio, Dawson for England, bit too far-fetched, do you think, at this stage of his career?
It'd be an absolutely amazing fairy tale story, wouldn't it? But it's never going to happen in a million years. Look who's in the England squad and around the fringes of the setup now. You got likes of Stones, as Pinky said, Maguire, Tarkovsky. There's a whole plethora of players from the, dare I say, I wouldn't say bigger clubs, but from the Sky Super 6 clubs, as they like to term themselves.
Yep.
We're going to get more of an opportunity than Craig Dawson ever will. Yeah, so it would have been a marvellous fairy tale story to come from obscurity and a relegation with Watford into the squad for the European Championships. And we all know that we need 3 West Ham players in there to have any chance of winning it. But it's just never going to happen. Never going to happen, I'm afraid.
Okay, let us know what you think. Does Craig Dawson deserve a chance to play for England? Aaron Cresswell, a recall maybe. Jesse Lingard. Let us know what you think in the live on the YouTube chat. Gnome, I don't know if you're with us or whether you're watching TV. I think because you're on mute, you're watching the interview. So we'll come back to you very quickly. Something else I wanted to talk about very quickly, and we are going to rush through this one tonight because, as I said, time is pushing on. It's a late kickoff, and the guys have got to get up early in the morning. Is Luck, Lady Luck? She's been smiling on West Ham a little bit this year. It's fair to say we might not have had an awful lot of penalties, but you're looking at the game tonight. We missed the penalty. Jesse Lingard misses the penalty. We get a very fortunate ricochet or save straight back into his path. Soufal almost scores an own goal, and there's Craig Dawson to hook it away from under the line and prevent that from going in. What do you? I mean, you always say, Pinky, don't you? You need a little bit of luck if you're to have a successful season, and then of course there's the belief that I don't know who it was who said it, but it's the old adage about the harder I work, the luckier I get. Which do you think's more true?
I think Gary Player called that right. Yeah, the golfer. That was his quote.
Okay.
And I'm not a firm believer in luck. I'm a firm believer in being prepared, being organised, being disciplined, being professional. It ain't luck. It's not luck. We've got our manager on the screen there right now, and playing to your strengths is not luck. Recognising that the opposition cannot defend a corner kick is not luck. Making sure that you deliver the ball for him, for a big hulking centre back to get in and get his sweet on it isn't luck. Recruiting a player who's won more aerial duels in midfield this season than any other player in Thomas Souček isn't luck. Where's the luck in what we're doing? I could argue we've been unlucky this season. We're hitting the post, we're hitting the bar. Yeah, I think we've been unlucky. I think defensively we've been prepared, we've been organised. And Craig Dawson being where he was tonight to clear the ball off the line, that's not luck. That's good, disciplined defending. Even when they scored their first offside goal this evening, you look where our defenders were. Yeah, they were lucky if that's the right word. They were fortunate at least to actually find the gap to get the ball in the net. Yeah, because our defenders were where they should have been at that precise moment. So no, I don't think we've been lucky. I think we've been unlucky. I think we are where we are in the league on merit because we've taken it seriously this season. And I think one or two other clubs perhaps have been found wanting in that regard. So no, I don't think it's luck at all. I think it's preparedness.
Okay, good stuff. Rio, quickly before we go to Gnome and David Moyes, what's your view on that one? I think West Ham have been unlucky rather than lucky at points this season. I mean, of course, we've all been watching West Ham clips this year and laughed along at the sheer amount of efforts that have crashed off the post or the crossbar. What do you make of that?
I've got to pretty much agree with Pinky. I think we've hit the woodwork more times than any other team in the Premier League, but even before tonight. Yeah, I read an article the other day that we've actually been the biggest beneficiaries in terms of positivity from VAR, believe it or not, which was some kind of miracle. I think the only respect we've been lucky this season is we've avoided injuries to key players. Yeah. Barring Mikel Antonio, who's rather brittle, as we know at times, we haven't had severe injuries of our key players. If we'd have lost with Rice or Souček at any point, I think the season would be looking incredibly different. We managed to ride out Ogbonna's injury so far, and we managed to ride out Mikel's. So I think that's where we've been lucky more than anything else, because normally our injury record is horrendous normally every season. But as Terry Brown once quoted, maybe it's our turn to have a decent run of injury-free season.
Yes, very much so. Okay, good stuff. Thank you, Rio. Thank you, Pinky. Gnome has been listening to David Moyes speaking to the media. I would imagine he's a very, very happy chappy tonight, Gnome.
Yeah, again, brutally honest, not happy with the performance. And he said Leeds are like that. He said, they're a decent side. He said, that's why you picked the game for tonight. Leeds are going to play in a certain way. And yes, it was made difficult for us. We didn't help ourselves. We didn't retain the ball well enough. He was quite critical of Jesse Lingard in that regard. But you know, overall, he's happy with the result, obviously. And he said, you know, we looked at the league table and, you know, we were disappointed when we dropped out of 4th place. And he said, no, I'm not saying that's where we should be. And I'm not saying that's where we're going to be. But the fact is, he said, we're having a good season. He said, we could turn this into a great one. You know, if it all stopped now, we'd say it was a good one. So, yeah, happy with the result. He was quite decent in his praise for Jesse Lingard's impact as a whole, although he did say tonight he wanted more. He wanted the front three to retain the ball better, which was something I think we were pointing out. We were, we weren't holding on to it. But all in all, fair lot of smiles. And yeah, as Rob Green just said, he'll be delighted with the points. And in a way, getting points out of performance that wasn't the greatest, he'll be very happy with that.
That kind of ties in a little bit with what we were just talking about, I think, in that, you know, you can look at certain games this year, can't you? And you think, you know, not wishing to use the word lucky or fortunate, but you look at games like Fulham away, for example, where we were battered. I think they had 20 shots to our 2 or something. And we escaped with a point there. Villa at home, again, we were distinctly second best, yet won that game. These are games that in years gone by that a West Ham team like this wouldn't have won. Even Tottenham, most recently, I suppose, you know, that last half hour was you know, dreadful viewing, wasn't it, as a West Ham supporter? What do you sort of make of all that? You know, do you think this is just quite an exceptional season, a bit of a one-off, or is it, you know,
it's unusual for us.
Your own luck?
Yeah, it's unusual for us, insofar as, you know, we can go through whole seasons without having a stroke of luck at times, you know. So, you know, I'll take it. But I think I'm going to drift slowly into cliche territory. But yeah, there are times when you make your own luck, and you know, we might be saying something like, yeah, it was a bit lucky that Dawson was there to clear off the line. Well, no, Dawson's a good player and was awake to the situation. And
but the point of that, though, if you sort of develop that point, Gnome, you know, that's kind of dependent on whether the ball falls from, you know, the ricochet off Soufal. You know, it was fortunate, I guess you could say, in a sense, that it, you know, rebounded off him in Dawson's direction. It could quite feasibly have gone the other way, and there was no one on the line.
But then, you know, we've had seasons where it's gone that way for us, and you just think, oh, what the hell's happening? So, you know, it's I was obviously listening to Declan Rice when Pinky was doing the opposition view on that, but I was disappointed in a way with Leeds. I mean, the final third, given that we're looking at a team that, you know, are being praised and lauded for the goals that they score. You know, I thought they were woeful in the final third, and of course, the usual thing with the set pieces at their end. Well, you know, if you're going to, yeah, I mean, I don't think they had dozens of chances, maybe 4 or 5. You know, it wasn't dozens and dozens like everyone seems to be sort of saying. But yeah, if you're going to miss 4 or 5, you better have someone who can defend corners, as far as I'm concerned. And they palpably haven't. You know, I mean, they were showing goals in the first match up at Ellen Road, yeah, for example, earlier on today, and it's clear that they've got a major problem in that regard. But I simply don't care. Simple as that. I mean,
who cares?
I've been watching this club for over 50 years now, and it's you know, some of the bad luck we've had over the years. I think we're due a season like this one, to be honest. Well overdue.
Yeah, I'll make you right on that one for sure. Who was your man in the match tonight, Gnome? I haven't asked you yet.
I'll give it to Dawson. Rice, I thought, had another good game, but poor old Declan doesn't get a man of the match awards because otherwise we think he'll be getting them every week. But Dawson, because he's running at the corners. I mean, not just the goal he scored, but every other corner we got. His running was, Llorente really is not a good defender at corners, but Dawson didn't have to make it difficult for him. And what's the old West Ham clips thing where the guy with the robotic voice comes on? Always refers to Dawson as the blue passport Beckenbauer, and which I think is a great description. But so I'll give it Dawson. No, he had a good game, scored at one end, prevented a certain goal at the other, which is as good as scoring a goal. Okay. And
all right, good stuff. Well, that's you and Pinky both going for Dawson. Rio, what about yourself? Who's your man of the match tonight?
Yeah, I'm afraid it's going to be a hat trick for Craig. Vital goal, comedy goal line clearance at the end. And he just does what Craig Dawson does, doesn't he? He wanders around with that northern grin on his face at times, causing havoc for defenders. Now, it wasn't the best defensive display for either team, but he just stands out, doesn't he, at times? Yeah.
3 out of 3 for Dawson. I'll go against the grain, and I think I'll give my award this week to Aaron Cresswell because we spoke a couple of times. The assist is provided more assists, as we pointed out during the match, than any other defender in the Premier League this season. Defended very calmly tonight, didn't put a foot wrong, I don't think. So I think Dawson is the obvious choice naturally, but a little word of praise to Cresswell because I think he gets
Cresswell's another one who gets under the radar every week. Yeah. But he's been very consistent this year, or this season.
Yeah. No, absolutely. So, all the man of the match awards going to defenders tonight. And I should also point out, because I haven't done so yet, Rio, you called it right. 2-0, you said at the start of the game. So well done. Gnome, you called it 3-1. So you were pretty damn close, got the margin of victory right. And Pinky, you were pretty close too with the 3-0. So well done, gentlemen. Well done. I'll have to start getting down the bookies, I think, in the next few weeks if this carries on.
Just going to see if my beloved has taken my advice this week. See if she's won anything.
There's a comment. I'm not sure if this comment just come in on live chat that says from someone called Arrived 66. Not a name I recognise. Maybe they just don't post very regularly. But it says, or she says, is there any chance that our beloved Pinky could lift his camera above chin level? And it gives you 2 kisses at the end of that as well, as if to sort of soften.
There's a bloke then.
In short, no.
There you go. There's your answer. Arrived, but I'm sure he appreciates the 2 kisses, regardless.
I do need to sort out a different background and all the rest of it, and what have you. So if someone can organise that for me and sort of like tell me how to do it, and maybe get some light in and that sort of stuff. But everything's about to get switched off here. My laptop's run out of juice. The telly's about to run out of juice. What can I say? 2-0. 5th spot. I think 9 wins to be sure. Why not? Why not us? So
why not? About time. Gnome said it. It's about time we had some luck and a decent season. Hammer Steve says, I think Pinky is naked from the waist down. And Xander says,
thanks for the nightmares.
Xander says nice ceiling, so well done. Congratulations to your decorator. Anyway, we're going to wrap up very soon. I've got one last question I want to ask. Pinky's laptop is about to pack up. Rio's about to pack up. He's been up all night. Noma's also got to get up dead early in the morning, and I'm going to be working into the small hours anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But very, very last question, gentlemen, before we go. Let's look ahead to our next outing, and it's a tough one. It's a big one. West Ham United. We go to Manchester United, to Old Trafford. We've already been there this season, Pinky, for the FA Cup match. We drew 0-0, I guess you could say, after 90 minutes, only going down in extra time. But, you know, this is a Manchester United team that started the season in sort of dire straits. And, you know, they've now knocked Man City off their perch by beating them, ending that incredible 20-game run. Going to be a tough game, isn't it? Yeah,
of course it's going to be a tough game. I mean, you know, when you are probably the richest club in world football, you know, you buy a 70 or 80 million pound centre back, they turn out to be not that good. Doesn't really worry you. Just go and buy another one. Yeah, that's the world they live in. We live in a different world. I think for us to get anything against them, I think we're going to have to be much more disciplined in our play than we were this evening, because they will have better finishers in their starting 11 than Leeds United had tonight. So we can't afford to give them the same number of chances. We can't afford to surrender the ball as much as we have. And I don't think we will. I think we'll see a different West Ham United against Manchester United. If you ask me, I'd take a point right now. Yes, I would. That's not one of the games that I think that is a must win. But I think it's a game, if we can avoid defeating, that might just help us a little bit. We're not going past Man United in the league table this season. They're not our serious rivals. You know, it's Leicester, it's Chelsea, and it's Tottenham Hotspur. They're the clubs we need to keep an eye on. If you get a point against Man United, great. Defeat, not a disaster. But I keep coming back to it. 11 games left, 9 wins to be absolutely certain. That's what I think we need. Don't necessarily need one next week, but let's try and get a point.
Okay, good stuff. Thank you, Pinky. Rio, beaten twice by Manchester United already this season, at home in the league in the corresponding fixture earlier this season. Went up there in the FA Cup a few weeks ago, and you know we're only narrowly beaten with a very a changed side. Can you see us getting anything there on Sunday?
Yeah, man, I think it's the toughest game of what we got left, but it's nothing to fear. As you said, the home game against them early in the season, we absolutely battered them for 45 minutes. A little bit of fortune for them when the ball went out of play, but they score from it. The cup game, as you say, a depleted side went up there. We battled hard. We worked, battled, showed all the qualities that we didn't tonight, you know, in terms of defending, work rate, and tactical now. So there's nothing to fear. It's going to be tough, but there isn't an easy game in the Premier League anymore. Let's go up there. I mean, as Pinky said, we get a point, it's not the end of the world. Who knows? You know, we can get more. You know, it's not beyond the realms of possibility. If we click like we have done in the last few away games, game on.
Game on indeed. Thank you, Rio. No, we've got some stinky games coming up, haven't we? Manchester United next week, Arsenal after that, then Wolves and Leicester, and after Newcastle, it's Chelsea. These are season-defining games, aren't they? Now it's you know it's obviously it is. We're in the last third of the season, but how important is it that we go to Manchester United, and if not necessarily, you know, don't win, don't lose?
Yeah, I think now we're getting to a situation where, as Ray says, I think we've got every chance of coming away with something from there. Yeah, I think it's important we don't lose up there, but I think that's entirely within our capabilities. Now, you just said, oh, we've got some stinky games coming up. And United won't exactly be looking forward to it. Arsenal won't be looking forward to play against us, because you know we're doing it. We've got this role. I mean, I don't think anybody would argue that, notwithstanding yesterday's result, Manchester City are streets ahead of Manchester United overall. I mean, local derby factors came in yesterday to a certain degree, and Manchester City was going to come to an end. 21 games, whatever, was going to come to an end eventually. But we gave Manchester City, a much better side than Man United, a hell of a game up there. So, you know, that's where we ought to be looking. We ought to be sort of, well, that's what we did against City. Manchester United aren't nearly as good as them. What can we do here? I'm still not going to be looking at games and saying, oh, so many points from that one, so many points from that one. Won't be too upset if we don't win this one, as long as it's okay. Because I still think we should just be going into each game and saying, yeah, okay, that's good. Where are we now? 5th? Or that's good. Let's see the next game. Let's have a look, see where we are after that.
Yeah.
Last game of the season is when you look and see, you start looking at other teams' results and what the possibilities are and where we're going to end up.
Yeah.
And I'll save that for the last game of the season. I'm just enjoying not looking over our shoulders and not having to scroll down on my phone to look at the league table. Hello, Liverpool. And so let's look at it that way. Because we don't want to go with Spurs and say, oh, you know, we really ought to be challenging Champions League and all that. I mean, I mean, they were all coming out of the woodwork again at the weekend, weren't they? After beating Crystal Palace, like well done. It's like, oh, Bale's world class again, and like 3 weeks ago, he was it was terrible. Why have we signed him? Let's not get it like that. Let's just enjoy the ride.
Excellent. Sage words indeed. And I think we all most certainly are enjoying the ride this year. It's been a fabulous season so far for West Ham United. I just hope it doesn't all, go downhill at the end. It's been fantastic, and long may it continue. Brilliant stuff. That's it from us tonight. That's it. That is a wrap, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks to my team, to Rio, to Gnome, to the Pink Palermo for your excellent company. As always, gentlemen, my thanks to all of you, the viewers who have joined us on this particular ride this evening. Thank you, as always, for your comments. As I say, we always enjoy reading those and having you here with us, enjoying the matches. There's how many is there to go now? Where are we? We've played 27, 11 more games to go. What a season it's turning out to be. Declan Rice and David Moyes might not have been particularly happy tonight. Declan Rice said he was happy with the result at least, but not the performance. And David Moyes also said he wasn't particularly happy with the performance. But West Ham are up to 5th in the Premier League regardless. It's another win. Goals coming from Jesse Lingard from the penalty spot or via the penalty spot, and Craig Dawson, 2 goals in the first half. West Ham hitting the post and the bar, but it didn't matter in the end because the 3 points were in the bag at that point. That is it. We are back on Sunday. West Ham, the next stop is Old Trafford on this particular journey this season. So there we go on Sunday. We hope you'll join us again then. Until then, thank you very much. We'll see you next week. And as always, come on, you irons.